guys, what is going on? Welcome to another episode of Music or Hideout, the show where I hang out with artists, musicians, and entertainers in Waylon Jennings' old basement studio. My name is Jury, and as always, I am gathered here with co-host Ryan Poole, who I'll pass it to introduce the guest.
Tonight, we have a fabulous guest. I'm trying to have a better radio voice, you guys. Tonight, we have a fabulous guest, all the way from some weird place in Illinois.
Artist, the best way to put it.
Songwriter, and caffeine dealer, Parker Campbell.
That was good. That was a good intro. Man, yeah. You want to try that again? Or?
Yeah, we could do here.
No, honestly, yeah. Well, hello. Thanks for having me, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
It's a blast. My, second podcast, and it's the first one that's not over Zoom, so that's cool.
Nice. We tried we did over Skype once.
Oh,
Remember that?
It's
it
rough.
did not work very well.
How old are you guys?
Yeah.
It was right before the pandemic.
That was before they made the iMac,
So before
right?
Zoom blew. Yeah, before the iMac.
That's cool.
Yeah, back on the old IBMs.
Go figure.
The good stuff. Not even heard of IBM.
That explains a tape recorder for sure.
We put a punch card in and...
Yeah. It goes, it spools. It's fine.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's
I think
sick.
we still have that on a floppy somewhere, that interview.
Oh, yeah.
Have you heard of a floppy before?
I've
know what
heard
that
of a
is?
floppy, yeah.
Have you ever seen one?
IRL.
IRL?
A little too young to get those, but...
No, because there was the floppy. No, I don't know why we're talking about floppy just now, but
Yeah.
just right off the bat.
Yeah.
But it was this big, 3.5 inches. How big it was? Sorry, it was a hard disk.
It held
Plastic.
1.44 megabytes.
Yep, massive, absolutely massive. Where before that there was the 5.5 inch floppy disks. Did you ever have computers with one of those? My first computer had that,
I
and it
didn't.
was actually like floppy.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
like a paper almost, like
Yeah.
plasticky paper, and you stick it in
They weren't
a
lying.
giant slot and then crank it down the thing to latch it in.
That's crazy.
And you used to play games that came with 8 to 10 of them.
Okay.
And you'd get to a certain point in the game, and it'd be put in disc 2.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was wild, different time.
Yeah, geez, man.
But-
I think I was my brain wasn't, I think I was a little bit in that period of time, but I was I could barely walk.
You were
So
right
it's-
at the tail, because you were born 2001,
2000.
2000,
Yeah.
and I think I was using floppy disk till about 2003, maybe for school things.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I was watching stuff on VHS, but I
Yeah.
had no control over that. Just some grown-up adults would come in and just be like, shut up. Put
Yours
in the
tape?
little VHS thing, and I'm like this big purple dinosaur.
Yeah,
And yeah.
which makes me think we're losing some concepts as technology advances, the concept
sure.
of rewinding.
Oh, okay,
You
yeah.
don't have to rewind anything anymore,
Yeah.
Huh.
right?
Do young people know what rewinding is?
No, they know what it
No,
is,
I
of
do,
course.
yeah.
It's still round.
Yeah.
People know the word, but what do you actually have to rewind? Have you ever rewound in your adult life?
Not really. I guess no. Honestly, and I feel like there is a concept to be able to, right? On YouTube, you can click the
back it
arrow,
up.
and you
Yeah,
you can back it up. That's technically rewinding.
Yeah,
That's
it
the
is,
modern
yeah.
day rewind. But I feel even just to go deeper into that is that I feel like my brain is so geared to be fuck it, move on. I don't need to go see the thing I thought I wanted to see for a
Right,
second.
just move on.
Everything happens so fast. I'm just going to keep going, and it doesn't really matter whatever the fuck it was. But
Yeah. We actually had a VHS tape rewinder, a separate machine that you sit
yeah.
next
Yeah.
to the VCR that you just all it does is rewind tapes.
that's crazy.
Because it would take 7 minutes,
Because you had to be kind.
Be kind, rewind. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
That was the PSA of our era.
Shout out
Jeez.
Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah. Blockbuster was fun.
Yeah. You
But-
had Blockbuster.
Yeah.
I've,
yeah. That was
I've had
around.
my Blockbuster experiences for sure.
Yeah. It didn't go to business till 2008, 9, 10, somewhere around there?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Something
I don't know.
like that.
Wesley, when did, can you look up when Blockbuster went out of business?
Technically, there's
Pull it
still
up.
one
Pull it.
left, so
Yeah.
they never
There's
did.
one left. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Huh.
so, we have the screen off, so
Oh,
he
yeah,
can't
we
show
can't
us.
show
things.
us.
It's his way of communicating with us.
You want me to
is
turn it on?
gone. Yeah, if you
Go
could. Otherwise, Wesley is inert.
Oh, do you actually want me to turn it on?
Yeah,
I
go
can.
ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Just because you basically because you
Because
offered.
you
I don't know if you
offered.
can even
It's clearly the button on the
get
side,
there.
right?
Yeah, it's the one that
Must
says
be.
power. This is it's kind of a.
Hey, there it goes.
And it's flashing, and I think it's coming on. This is fantastic.
Please wait. How
it
old is
says.
this
It's a
TV?
very
Give me
old
money.
television.
Give me money.
That's some producer credits right
Doing
there.
your job.
So to hard shift.
As
Yeah.
we
I
do,
mentioned earlier that you're from Illinois, but
Yeah.
but where?
So I'm from a small town on the far west side of Illinois. My address is, but it's a little town called Quincy, Illinois. It is, this is the first time I've ever really had the opportunity to just kind of like shit on it on air.
Perfect.
I don't think I'm gonna go too into detail. It is just kind of like a small rural town in Illinois. It's about as far from Chicago as you can get. So everyone around here, when I'm like, oh, I'm from Illinois, they're like, I love Chicago. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I do too. That's awesome. Not even close. We're like the only town probably within like a 30-mile radius that has a Walmart.
Oh, wow.
So we're kind of popping in the
Kinda hot
area
stuff
for
there.
sure. Like we get all the farm folk like rolling in to come to our Walmart. We have a mall. It's about half dead.
But the other half still going strong.
The other half is going really strong. It's got a Spencer's, and then they turned what used to be a Bergner's into a cancer research center, which is definitely for the better.
In the mall?
Yeah.
So this
Seems
is
like a
kind
weird
of
place
sounding
put
to
a
me
cancer
like
research center.
Hawkins, Indiana from Stranger Things.
Yeah, there's just no charm to it at all. Not one bit. I kind of wish it was Hawkins. Like, honestly, I wish some shit like that would be going down because it would be entertaining. There's nothing going on at all. I don't even really know where to start. There's nothing to do.
All right. So I assume, is that why you left?
Yeah, that was a big part of it. I started writing music and all that garbage. And when you and I love all the people that own these bars that I played at there. They really took the time to get me there to play. But it's like there's not a real appreciation for music there, at least just kind of in the sense that in the field that I feel like I belong. Or want to belong.
Yeah, it's just tough in a small town because there's not enough people to support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
How
bunch
small
of
are we talking?
artists.
Do you have any idea what the population?
40,000.
40,000. Okay.
40,000.
So it's
Yeah.
pretty small,
Yeah.
but it's not like tiny.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's big relative to like the towns around it.
Sure.
But even then, that's just not saying much. But yeah, there's like 3 bars that had music. And it was bars only. There were no like venues or anything like that. One guy had a barn. He owned a barn. And he would host it for like weddings and all this kind of stuff. I played that one time, but it was literally for like an insurance. Like this insurance company had like an outing, and they were like, "Let's get this like pasty sad white boy to like play us some acoustic tunes to this room full of people in like overalls that don't really want to talk about anything sad." And for 4 hours straight.
4 hours.
Yeah, 4 hours of a little 4-hour set.
Just
cool.
a quick 4 hour set.
It was nothing. Yeah, I was fine, totally fine the next day for sure.
I feel like there is something to people in small towns and the arts that like maybe you didn't have a lot of other stuff to do, and music, it kind of gives you space to sort of dive into something like music. How did you get started in music? How did you start picking up? Did you start with a guitar?
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say that because I have a tendency to just like I just did, just completely shit on this place that I'm from. But it is a very close part of me, and it has a lot to do with how I've kind of found myself in a field of music. My grandpa, or actually my grandparents, had an old like Christian folk band. Like way back before I was born. So there was just kind of like a lot of music kind of running through my family and all this stuff. And I picked up a couple like guitars that my grandpa just had lying around the house about like 5 years ago. And I just was asking him to teach me how to play. And he taught me basically like a G chord. And he was like, I kind of bullshitted all this myself. Like, I don't really know what to tell you, but like, take this guitar, like, have fun, like try to figure it out and blah, blah, blah. And so from there, I didn't really like blink twice about it too much. I got really into like early Ed Sheeran and stuff on the radio and all that. And it was the first time I was kind of like willing to admit that I was just into like soft, sappy, like sad music. Cause like, it is kind of hard, especially as like a kid in high school, to be like, yeah, I'm really into that like mushy stuff. Cause people will just like say the worst shit, especially where I'm from. So
what was like the cool kid music?
It was As much as I like expected it to be country music, and like a lot of it was, I think like rap really like at that time just kind of like held the reins.
Sure.
I don't really know. Like a lot of people learned to like Lil Uzi Vert and stuff like that, and wasn't really my gig, so I just kind of like stayed out of it. But yeah, it was really interesting, I guess, as to kind of like the upbringing of like how it kind of got me into this place where I wanted to write music, because there wasn't much to do. I just always found myself like really prioritizing like finding someone special to like be in my life, and that being like a girlfriend or something like that, and that wasn't working out too well ever. So I just decided
It's always good.
Yeah.
Good for songwriting.
it is. It's amazing for
It's a lot
songwriting.
better than if it works
Yeah.
out. If it works out, you don't have a
What
lot
do you have to write
say.
about?
Yeah.
We're like, everything's fine.
I know it's not kosher to look at the camera sometimes, but I'm going to do it right now.
Yeah, do it.
Ladies, if you're ever, ladies, gentlemen, whoever you are, if you're ever talking to someone and you find out that they're a really good songwriter, run for the hills. They have no clue how to help you. Myself included. But anyways.
That being said, are you currently eligible for all the ladies of the internet?
I am. I just met somebody at this coffee shop that I work at a couple days ago. So, you know, it's...
Might not be for long.
I'm prioritizing something at the moment, I guess you could say, but I'm on the market like a used car, sort of. It's just like there are a lot of people that want this. So.
And by the time this episode drops, you'll either be super unavailable or
Yeah.
newly available. So
Yeah.
So, you know, check in on Parker's Instagram and see
Yeah.
how
Hit
sad
him
the
up,
songs
send him
are.
DMs.
I probably shouldn't be promoting myself without working out in at least 20 years. So that's cool.
When
but-
you were one.
Yeah, when I was one. I was in the
Going
weights.
hard.
My dad was like, you need to be a linebacker. You know, nobody's born with thighs like that and doesn't play linebacker. But then, you know, everything kind of penciled out. And, you know, here I am.
And,
So.
and here we are in Nashville now.
Yep, just some lanky.
So how'd you get
another
from-
lanky white boy?
From like, you have this guitar, you know.
Before we
chord.
go further into the story.
Oh, okay.
I think
we should play a song.
probably play a
yeah,
song.
absolutely. So people know what you sound
Sure.
like.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So what's the first song you're playing for us today?
The first song I'm going to be playing for you is a song called "Shadow of Your Feet." I wrote this about a girl back home that I was really first person I ever really kind of fell in love with, and it kind of seemed like they wanted to spend time with me, and they said differently, but anytime things were wrong, they would text me or whatever, and just kind of look to me for some type of companionship. But they would just always say they wanted nothing to do with me. So it was just really kind of confusing. And this was the only way I could explain it.
You told me that you loved me with just your eyes, and I knew then you felt it down inside. Whatever happened to you and I put it all behind me, oh I tried. But I wish I was worth it before, 'cause now when it rains, oh it pours. And I know you shut your door, but there's a shadow of your feet on the floor. I know you feel it in your bones. I know you need me when we're alone. Holding on to pillows from the couch, a place we both thought was home. And I've been wondering where you go, and if you ask the same. But I wish I was worth it before, 'cause now when it rains, oh it pours. And I know you shut your door, but there's a shadow of your feet on the floor. And I know you feel it in your bones. I know you need me when we're alone. We stayed up all night until the sun rise, just to know how it feels to be alone. And I lay by your side until you realize you're still on my mind and in my notes. I never let you go. I wish I could turn back time before the winter snow. I wish I could change my life to fit your own. 'Cause I know that things are fine when we're both alone. 'Cause I can just let go of all of this unknown. I wish I was worth it before. 'Cause now when it rains, oh, it pours. I know you shut your door. There's a shadow of your feet on the floor. Your hands are cupped over your ears. You've been listening all these years.
And we're back.
So the song was great, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.
So I was like trying to place what your music reminds me of, and here's kind of what I think. It sounds like in an indie, like a kind of like a darker, dramatic indie movie. You know, something called like The Life and Times of a Poet,
Yeah.
the Jarrod Davis story.
Sure.
Like your music would come on in like the saddest part of the movie after the main character, Jarrod Davis in this case.
Sure.
Shout out, Jared.
As his like soul was crushed,
Okay.
then your music would come on.
That's awesome.
And that's what I like feel. That's my take on your vibe.
That I
Does
will,
that track?
I will take that. I don't know how you mean that, but I will definitely take that as a compliment. I
hell you
I go
mean.
for like a Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 100 Days of Summer like kind of thing.
I love that movie.
I love that movie.
500 Days of Summer.
Is it 500
it's
Days of
500
Summer?
Don't
days.
sell it short.
Okay, well I gotta watch it again, I guess. But great movie. Shout out to Zooey Deschanel.
Yeah.
Yeah, has she been doing stuff lately? I feel like I haven't heard of Zoe in a while.
I don't know if she's engaged yet, but she's like dating one of the Property brothers, which is really frustrating.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not sure which one. It might be both
Weird.
of them. I feel like they might be
I
playing
thought they
this
were both
weird...
already married.
No. Well, they might be married. One of them might be married
One
to
of them might
her
be married
now.
to Zoe.
Yeah, which is really frustrating, but
For everybody else in the
whatever.
world.
Yeah, that was just my only goal was to like make it and then just like just like ask her out once.
Just one time. Just got to get it off the
Just
bucket
once.
list. You still could ask her out.
I
mean, it's
could.
kinda rude at
I
that
feel like
point.
now that I kind of have the reality of the age difference, maybe.
Yeah,
it
she's a
would-
solid, 20 years older than you almost.
Yeah, probably, but I'm a mature guy. I think some people say that.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I don't know. Yeah.
She was married to one of my musical heroes, Ben Gibbard.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But
Yeah.
Dang, I thought she was.
But she was like real big in
dating Nick.
everything for a minute, right? 500 Days of
Right.
Summer, and then New Girl came out,
Elf.
and Elf, and
Right.
what's the band? She and Him.
yeah, she had a
Yeah.
band called She and Him.
I mean,
yeah, and
she
then like,
dated Will
one of the best
Ferrell.
Christmas albums that have ever been made. She made. I love
yeah.
her Christmas album.
Great.
And then I don't know. I haven't heard of her in like 8 years.
yeah.
Where'd you go, Zoe?
Yeah, I don't know. But thanks for
Yeah.
saying that. That's interesting. I haven't heard that yet, but I
You haven't
I
heard that
do-
very specific.
I haven't heard that is I mean, I was working on a song was recording a song with a couple of buddies like a month ago, and we were adding some instruments to it, and one of them goes, "That sounds too much like it's going to be in a movie." And I was like, "I kind of like it."
Yeah, I mean,
But I don't know. I don't
huge source of income for artists is
Oh,
movie placements.
But that's the thing is I don't want to go down that road, but
Well, like if
maybe
somebody
I'm not
offered
sure.
to put your song in a movie, are you going to say no?
Yeah, no, definitely. It depends on the movie.
Oh, but
It depends on the movie.
The good route is because there's, I would guess, and don't let me put words in your mouth, but I would guess that you don't want to go down that route in the sense that like you don't want to be the kind of artist that just does movies, but like no one ever knows them for their art. They're just like making
Right.
music for like commercially.
Yeah, well, I think that can be said in kind of a lot of avenues, which really worries me. I really want to be able to stick to how I want to make things, and I think that if there's a moment where I decide that I'm going to do that specifically just for the dollar and make what somebody wants tailored to them or something like specific, I don't want to tie my name to that. In the kind of sense that like then that's how my career starts, is it's just like, oh my God, now we're just like making anything at this point. I really like, I want to tell stories that are true and things that have like happened to me, and I want to depict it and really honestly just kind of only the way that I understand. And it seems like people are able to pick it up pretty well sometimes, but it's like there's a line I've been worried about crossing there for sure.
No, we'll say there is a kind of artist who gets away with getting the best of both worlds. So like Elliott Smith in Good Will Hunting.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can think of Good Will Hunting music, but
No. Love the movie, though.
he did the soundtrack for that, but it's all like his own artistry. Trying to think who else, but like there is like a kind of breakout artist that breaks out because they have like a movie soundtrack.
Yeah.
But it's all like very authentic and true to them. Where did you where did you get the idea that you want to tell authentic stories or do something authentic with your music, or that it needs to be true to you rather than, you know, just making something to make money? Any thoughts on like when you started playing music, why you went down that road?
Yeah, it kind of comes from like, so I got into, I really started with like acoustic pop, like just hearing kind of whatever like sad stuff was on the radio. And then that eventually just kind of takes me down a lot more of like kind of an in-depth route with everything. And, once I started, kind of noticing that I was like hearing songs that kind of just have like some generic like lyric flow to them and everything, and it's just kind of more written about somewhat of a concept. It's like just things that are just like, oh, I love your eyes, and like that's it, and it's just trying to grab you with just something romanticized. It's more romanticized than it is like tried and true to kind of what's going on. And I can't completely like just dog on that, because there are songs like that I enjoy. But it honestly kind of comes from a deeper place of insecurity. I like had, you know, someone very close to me, like in my family, that just kind of struggles with some personality issues, and that really kind of just rubbed off on me a bit, and it worried me because I'm like, do I have that? And it was just kind of a sense of like fakeness. Someone who doesn't really have much of like a real identity, or like holds any kind of like moral ground within themselves, and will just say anything to anyone to get into the right place.
Like a psychopath?
Yes, like a psychopath, yeah. And so that had a strange effect on me, and because I'm like this person in a few ways, and it's I think it's just kind of also a way of living for me. I don't want to go down that path either. I don't want to be somewhere that I don't actually want to be. I don't want to be saying things just for the fuck of it, because a lot of people can see right through it, and like at the end of the day, I don't want to like look back and realize that I was just being somebody else the whole time. So it's really built on a lot of just kind of underground baggage of things that have fucked me up over the years, and this is the one place that I can feel genuine. These are like songs that I sit down and write and like take the time, and they speak to me probably more than I can honestly speak to them. And I don't know. Yeah, it's just been the one place that I've honestly felt genuine. And so I just want to keep it that way, because I know it's easy to get into a different place sometimes with that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sort of the same way, and I don't know why, but I naturally, when I write songs for myself, for my band, then like I want to feel like all of the lyrics mean something, and I know what they're about, and they're like true to me, and I agree with the lyrics.
Yeah.
Every so often, I've sort of stretched that to like work. I've made something kind of work, but
Okay.
overall, the songs, like I kind of know what every word's about and why I did it. And
Yeah.
it all makes sense
Yeah.
to me, and it all feels true to me, and I feel good about my like stamp of approval on this is something I want to say.
Right. And I think where I am trying to draw that line for myself as well is that there are cliches is the best way to put it. I think there are a lot of ways that I'm going to use cliches in my writing, and as long as I know that it's tied to something important to me, that kind of helps me realize to not be so bullish on other people as well. Like there's a flip side to that coin for me of like being like, all right, I've written lines about looking at the moon or something,
Sure.
It's like,
and you don't know what's going through somebody else's brain, what they're feeling about it, or whatever it is.
I think when that sort of thing then just kind of becomes significant to me is that like looking at an artist whose writing style just changed drastically out of nowhere, especially on the heels of signing a new record deal or like having a hit single or something, and then all of a sudden their music kind of changes into something else and it's not as deep. It doesn't feel like them. That's kind of a better way, I think, to like box up this fear of getting into a weird space.
So do you think that's a symptom of that kind of, I don't want to call it like selling out, but like that kind of like going in that direction, or is it just a symptom of success?
I think it can be. I don't know. I'm just kind of getting started in this thing, and I don't know all the ways that it kind of falls into that place for people. I don't want to like call it selling out directly because I think it has a lot to do with like people finally finding that success that they've wanted in the music industry and like being able to like pave the way for themselves to not to work at a coffee shop full time, even though they love it a lot. It's just like, I don't know. There's a lot of people that you meet along the way, and I feel like you can kind of convince yourself you're the same person at some point, but maybe not realize kind of the ulterior motive of having a comfy lifestyle and, just kind of changing these little things maybe in your writing along the way to kind of adapt to that. And like, I think you can kind of hear people, especially in interviews, like talk about how they think of songs more as a hit, like before they put them out. They're like, oh yeah, that's a hit. And that's kind of when I think that's a cool concept. Like I've definitely I've written songs I've loved and been like, I think once this gets tracked, I think it could do pretty well if I put the right like promotion around it and stuff and blah, blah, blah. But like specifically setting out to write a hit or something is kind of where I think that issue.
That's like where your line is. You're like, it's cool if it is a hit, but that's not your drive. That's not the thing that drives you to write it.
And so I guess to kind of more of what you were like asking is like, I think that can be brought on by labels and such and all. And not to just like start going down dogging record labels or anything.
Sure,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah, of course not.
I don't think.
If you're a record label and you're listening, Parker Campbell would love to have a conversation with you.
The guy that knows absolutely nothing.
But we've talked about something similar in another entertainment field in stand-up comedy, because like we've noticed, we're big stand-up fans that
me too.
First couple of specials are usually the best.
Right.
And then that third, sometimes the fourth, all of a sudden it's different. And it's like almost hard to put your finger on. The best that we can equate it to is well, they've gotten all this money and success now, they can't relate as much to everyone who's listening to their jokes.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that's kind of like in the same vein.
I've been really into stand-up myself like the last couple of years. I've kind of noticed that as well. I think with like the outreach that like social media has on everything now is that like a comedian will have like a really good special on Netflix or something, and then all of a sudden like everybody's posting about it. Everybody sees it. Everybody knows about it. Well, a comedian's job is like make people laugh. That's what they want to do, is make people laugh. And then I think that comedy becomes more tailored to the general like masses. And a good mix of like just kind of who they are as a comedian. I think you still kind of see in, my idea of those like kind of people you're talking about that change a lot. Like there's still flashes of them in there, but it's like there is kind of that point of like once they blow up, like things do change.
Right. And it's not for everybody. Like some people really hold on to that, but it's just super common.
Right. Somebody who I like to have like I feel like has held their ground really well, especially for like how much success they had, is John Mulaney. I think John Mulaney is
That's
like
Ryan's
whether
number one,
you
I
like
think.
his humor or not, it hasn't changed.
Except if you don't, you suck.
Yeah, if you don't, you're awful. I
Yeah,
mean,
John
it's
Mulaney's great.
just a little guy in a suit, like walking around making jokes. It's great.
Yeah. Now, even him, I think his third Netflix special, Kid Gorgeous, wasn't as good as his second special.
New in Town?
Right.
No, second special
Was New in Town the first one?
first. New in Town, The Comeback Kid, Kid
Comeback
Gorgeous.
Kid, that's
So
right.
The Comeback Kid, I felt like was his peak.
Sure.
And then the third one I didn't think was as good, although I just re-listened to it last week, and it's
Yeah.
still good. It's just
Right.
like not quite as good. And
Yeah.
I mean, I do think it affects things that he's at Radio Music City Hall or whatever.
And for Comeback Kid?
Yeah, or no, at
I'm not sure.
Kid Gorgeous.
Okay.
Is that Radio? Do we call it Radio City Music Hall?
Radio City Music Hall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's such a weird. When you say it and you think about the words you're saying, I'm like, this can't be right. But when he's on this massive stage and he's like running back and forth, and like you can just tell he's at like the top of his fame. So he has like a different kind of energy, because John Mulaney's whole thing is kind of him being this kind of like self-effacing guy,
Right.
and so it changes it a little bit. But I'm glad you brought him up, because it gives me another opportunity to gloat.
Oh gosh.
I got to see him live at the Ryman a few weeks ago,
Oh, dude, that's awesome.
and he's doing his new special, like what's gonna be his new special, but probably won't be out for
A year or something, yeah.
I have no idea how long, like when he'll finally film it and put it out. But
Okay.
so like, what's cool is you get to see it sort of in advance, but like
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll change and evolve by the time
Yeah.
he records it.
Absolutely.
But for the new one, I'm like, ooh, like I thought it was great. I thought it was better than the
Yeah.
third, and partially because of events in his life
I was gonna
that
say
is sort of
a
like,
lot's gone down.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's kind of like been humbled to a degree, or like he got to play a down and out character a little bit more, if that makes sense.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely.
So you mentioned, obviously, you mentioned you like John Mulaney, but
Yeah.
is he at the top? Is he your number one? Is he the best stand-up who's ever lived?
Oh, I wouldn't. I don't know if
Based on only what you've seen, obviously.
Yeah, I think it's such kind of like a personal like topic there. It's hard to like. I would say one of the greater ones that doesn't get a lot of attention, and I try not to tie my name to this person a lot because he gets a lot of bad flack, but he's joking. Bill Burr, I think, is hilarious.
I think Bill Burr is
He-
in the top few of all time.
Yeah,
Top few of all.
definitely.
He's hilarious.
I think his way to just kind of work around anything. It's 100% his personality is hilarious. Whether I'm watching him on a podcast or a stand-up special, like it's
He
all just as
rant.
funny to me.
He can rant like no one else.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't really.
I mean, he's not even as controversial as. I mean, he's definitely Bill Burr's like in my top three.
Yeah.
I did do
He's the least controversial of the three.
Sure.
I did an off the top of my head Bill Burr impression a number of episodes back,
There you
and
go.
you gave me a lot of crap for it, that it sounded nothing like him.
Really?
But
I don't
when I
remember this
listened
at
back,
all.
I know. But when I listened back to the episode, I was like, that wasn't bad for off the top of my head.
Yeah.
It kind of
fair
sounds
enough.
a little bit like him.
All right, fair enough. I don't know. I don't remember that happening at all. So
It
You're
happened.
gonna let it rip, or
No,
can't be
Okay.
canned, right? It's
Yeah.
got to be off the cuff.
It's gotta be
yeah.
real.
Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. I
But,
will.
but I believe
You
the
really,
best.
I mean, that's what we
um,
were just talking about, authenticity and artistry. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
can't force
Sure.
it. Wow,
From
you're
one
asking him to
artist to
sell
another.
out.
Oh well, but then what's the difference between that and like, hey Parker, can you just like play some songs into these mics for me real quick?
Yeah, there's no difference. I'm just giving you a hard time.
Yeah, that's canned. In some
That's
way.
true. It kind of, I mean, it is. Especially like you got to think like people who've played the same song for decades.
Right.
That's like the super meaningful song. It's
Yeah.
like, is it still super meaningful to
I
you?
always think about
30
Coldplay
years
when it
later?
comes to that.
Yeah, there you go. They've been around a while.
Because they have 20 songs that are just like, play that one.
Right.
You're like, oh, I can't imagine.
I
Can't
saw
imagine.
the Killers
Oh yeah.
this week, and they were really good.
No, they've been around a minute.
And one of the things I thought about, because he did have a very passionate, interesting, super into it performance. He was a very good performer. And watching it, I was like, man, he's been singing that same song for like 20 years.
Yeah.
And he's still like selling it like he cares about it now.
That's good. I think that's awesome. I feel like that's a talent within itself right there, is to be able to like just keep reaching back into that well and like grabbing the emotion that started that song, especially after it's hit everybody. And like,
Right.
because like I feel like like somebody who's had just like a crazy hit song like that and just playing it over and over again, like I feel like you watch so many people from that point take your song and kind of everyone takes it and makes it whatever they want, like kind of just turns it into something else. And I feel like kind of watching that, it can mean so many different things. Like at that point, like especially with things like TikTok now and stuff, it's like you can just see. I don't have this experience, but I just like watching other people is like using like the sounds from their song or whatever, and then just like making a completely different like storyline with it, or like just a bunch of other things. And I feel like it's got to be weird to kind of like watch that kind of unfold, and it kind of gets away from like maybe what it meant in the first place. I feel like it's kind of weird to like go on and just keep playing it with the same emotion like every time from then on.
Yeah, but you kind of gotta.
You have to, right? Because there's like thousands of people who bought a ticket to come see you.
To come see you do that exact thing.
And they're all squeezing into the worst street in Nashville to come see it.
Trying to make it happen.
Yeah. But fun times.
No, I did say, so I said this in the beginning, but no joke, whiskey is straight up disintegrating this cup.
Oh, so you're just drinking paper now.
Like, do you see that on the side? It's just straight up disintegrating it. Like, I feel,
alcohol, man. It's eating away. Yeah.
It is poison that you drink, so.
That's true, yeah.
Guess we can't expect much
the
else.
paper's probably better for you at that point.
That's true. It's not too bad.
There's a lot of glues in there, I think, but I ate glue when I was a kid. Elmer's glue.
You're fine.
Only a couple times. I only did it like twice.
Oh, eight. I thought you said you hate it. I was like, that's really strong about some white paste.
Kids gotta be eating glue.
Kids be eating glue.
Did you do the thing where you put it on your hand, let it dry, and then peel it off?
Yeah,
that's
I didn't. No, I wasn't like sick. Yeah.
I would do that shit right now. Give me some Elmer's glue.
I was fat, but I wasn't sick.
The way Jury's, for the audio listeners, the way Jury's eyes are lighting up talking about Elmer's.
I kind of want him to do it right now. Can we get some glue in here?
Yeah, Wesley, can you
get some Elmer's in here, Wes? Dang, dude. No, I never went down that road, thank God. I was like starved for that amount of attention though, for sure.
No, it feels really good. You should try it.
Okay.
I haven't done it since I was like, I don't know, 9, but I remember.
Sure, man. I'll do that afterwards.
Yeah, you should. Absolutely. Go pick up some glue on the way home, have a good time.
Yeah, once I'm out of here, I'll definitely do that.
Don't sniff it though. It's illegal.
So random, but
okay.
So when I first looked up your music, I noticed that you had stick figures like on your art, and then I looked at your Instagram, and you have kind of a lot of stick figures, and also I've just noticed that on your arm you have tattooed kind of a stick figure.
Well, I do have a stick figure.
Oh, and a stick figure
right here
for real.
This one was a lot more impulsive and didn't mean as much, but it does mean a lot in some way. I kind of, I was always like, music's like the only creative thing that I can do like ever. And now that my drawings really, I don't like put them out and intend for it to mean anything other than it's just some type of communication for me, honestly. It's kind of a weird way of like cryptically being able to just like put out these like excess feelings I kind of have about something. And it's like, there's a chance that the person who knows what this is about sees this. And might say something, because Lord knows I can't say anything about it right now. So it just kind of became that. And then it just, I don't know, like I draw stupid little stick figure things because I can't draw. Like it's all kind of based on the limitations that I have within myself. And I've been kind of sticking to that like notion that like using your limitations is actually kind of a beautiful way to like create things and can add a lot of character to it if you decide to, I don't want to say exploit that because that sounds manipulative and we've kind of been over this, but like, I don't know, just capitalize on that. What are the things I'm not so good at, but like what I've highlighted in my brain for that kind of thing is like, it's me. It's like, it's who I am. It's the only way I can like tell these little like stupid micro stories pretty much to myself. And I don't know, just have it out there for some dumb reason.
So was that uncomfortable at first to post things? Like if you're like, I'm not good at drawing, I'm going to post something I drew.
Yeah, it I think honestly, after I posted like my first like cover song like on Instagram, nothing was really embarrassing after that.
Broke that off you?
Yeah, I waited until like I graduated high school. It was like the summer after I graduated high school. I like posted something, and just because I knew like people would give me such a hard time here and there. But I don't think they would have. I think it was all in my head. But yeah, it was a little bit like that. I think I was more worrisome because like some of the things I'll be like depicting are so specific to someone that like if they saw it, they would know what's up. And then I'm kind of like, well, I don't know if people really think that much. I think that much. Like I think, I have this problem where like you just kind of think everything.
Habitual overthinker.
Right. It's like, oh my God, is that about me? And it's just like somebody posting nothing.
Right.
Like,
literally nothing to do with you.
I remember that from the early days of social media. I never think that way anymore. Because now I think that everybody is doing their social media to try to like promote themselves or their thing. And so I'm like, that has nothing to do with me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if it's just my age or if it's the way social media has gone. But I kind of remember in the beginning, like a friend that you were close to said a certain thing and it kind of reminded you of something you said. And I'm like, did they post that because of me?
Right.
And they never did.
But back then, everything you posted was about your friends. You didn't give nothing. Nobody was promoting. I mean, there was a few, but that's just not what social media was until down a few years after Facebook came out. It's probably when it started.
Yeah, I think like not to pander too much to like the pandemic like topic, but like
Pander to the pandemic.
Pander to the pandemic. Yeah,
That's cute.
He's good with words. He's good with words. Not good with much, but he's good with words. Like it was just that was like kind of the only way to communicate is like over your phone. So like just texting somebody everything how you feel is apparently too complicated sometimes. So it was like sometimes you just post cryptic things on your Instagram story and you pick up on it and finally have the right conversation. It was just kind of a weird, at least I think I can't really say it was everybody's experience. That was just like my personal like line of being separated from someone. You got to find like more than just one way to communicate. It's strange.
Right. Do you live alone?
No, I don't.
Did you live alone when during everything was shut down?
Then yeah, I lived in Iowa City, Iowa at the time. I was like pretending to go to school up there. I like went to community college for a year and then decided I wanted to make music and took a year off. And then the pandemic started and I was still in school at the time. But I figured it was best to go back home to middle of nowhere, Illinois and like just be with my family because they were like, we might shut down the border, like that nobody can get in or out of Illinois. Like might need to just keep everybody in the state. And I was like, should probably go home. Like I don't have real money or anything to like take care of myself. I'm living with two guys in a house. Like I'm gonna like trek home and just hunker down there.
Fucking Iowa.
In Iowa, which is better than Illinois.
Really?
Yes. With minus Chicago. And you can even actually look it up. I don't know how they gauge like the happiness statistic, but there is like this consensus like happiest states in the United States and like Iowa's like up there.
Really?
It's just so well put together. Illinois is a rural state with, Chicago, but those like rural cities aren't as well kept as like they are in like Iowa.
See, when I think of Iowa,
Iowa's completely rural. So
Iowa's completely rural, so they get the bulk of the jokes for sure because it's just I don't know why it's just renowned for that. But just I don't know. Somebody's probably out there going to be listening to this at some point and just like they're all the same. It doesn't matter. It's like
so. I went to Iowa once with a artist, and they were like somewhat well known, and we got picked up in like bigger. I don't know, like not Escalades, but like black cool SUVs.
Sure.
And they picked us up, and like there was just volunteers. The artist I was with was like, so what is this town known for? And I can't remember if it was Dubuque or one of the other big ones, but it was one of the cities of Iowa. And they were like, what is blank city known for?
Yeah.
And the person driving, who's been born and raised there, was like, I don't really know. I'll look that up for you. And they're like, oh, cool. And so then we all went to lunch or whatever. Anyway, they pick us up after lunch and they're driving us back. And they're like, oh, hey, I got you a fax list about the city. And they had printed out from like from that town's like Remax, the realtor.
Right.
Wow.
From their website, it was like fun facts about their city. And it was like the stupidest shit. Like what was cool about their city was
like the world's third largest ball of twine.
It wasn't even that cool. It was like,
it wasn't even that.
It was like
cool.
8th or 9th.
I can't remember these facts, but it was just as they're telling us that. I mean, first of all, she couldn't off the top of her head say anything cool about her city, and second of all, when she did give us a list, they were all dumb. I was just like, man, this place is hell.
Yeah, I think it's really for people that grow up in an environment like similar to that, like me, where it's like, oh, there's truly nothing around me. But then when you go to Iowa and they're like, oh, this is home of like the guy that invented the like Samuel Adams like lager, like their like festive flavor, like whatever, like bullshit like that.
So it's like
It's really reaching at that.
Like there's his house, and you're like, wow, no way. You just kind of have to like excite yourself. There's like,
Yeah.
So it's like Iowa figured out how to make nothingness work for themselves.
Right. That's what I was saying,
Sure.
because when I think of Iowa, I don't.
Yeah.
Like, I know
Okay,
nothing. I
guys.
literally just know nothing about. There's like half the
Yeah.
states all in the same general area that I just literally know nothing about.
certain places like Iowa City and like Des Moines can be kind of charming. I love like kind of the small town thing. I don't love living in it.
More the idea of
But
it.
there's a piece to it. I mean, my dad's house, like in Illinois, there's just a cornfield in the backyard, and like living in a place where it's so small that everybody just kind of like all people have to do is talk about each other, and in the worst way. It's nice to like just have those like weird pockets where you can just kind of feel like you're not anywhere and there's no expectation on anything. And you're just kind of left to your own vices. It's really charming, but you have to like sit into that theory because like most days, especially not to pander to the pandemic, that was called a callback. If you guys have ever heard of those. All right. Anyways, when all you have to do is like sit out there, like especially during that time, it was like, oh my God, get me out of here, get me anywhere else. But like going back home to visit, I'm like, it's really nice, really relaxing. It's like, it's cool. I can appreciate those things more. But every day, my God.
So how long you been here now?
I've been here since like the middle of March.
Okay, so still pretty fresh.
Yeah.
And
pretty
this
fresh.
is the biggest place you've ever lived?
I mean, I lived in St. Louis with my family. I think, like, geographically, it might be a little bigger, but
Might
I
be.
mean,
I don't know.
yeah, I technically, like, on my own, yeah, definitely.
Okay. How do you like Nashville?
I'm liking it, man. I landed on it for kind of the sake of still being able to have some small town with me. And from what I've like learned is that a lot of people just kind of know, everyone knows like who everyone else is. So it's kind of nice. I enjoy the aspect of being able to like have things to do, but also be able to just like get the hell away from whatever I want because I still haven't made my mind up. Like, I don't know if I like being around a lot of people. I don't know if I don't. Like, it's really touch and go at this point.
Right.
I think it's just specific people that like suck ass that I'm just like, oh,
Right. But they're always the loudest.
Like Matt Sahadi.
right. But sure. Yeah, but love you, Matt. No, I don't. But I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, especially for the sake of like, just, I finally feel this is the most confident I've felt in myself in a long time, and to be in a place that I can actually kind of like lay the groundwork for what I want to be a career feels really nice. I mean, just, I didn't realize how secluded I was from what like working in music is actually like. And so even just kind of getting a taste of that now is great. Has its stressors as well, but it's really nice.
Well, I think it maybe is about time to play the second song. What's the second song that you're playing?
Yeah, so this is another unreleased song I'm kind of working on as part of an EP, but this one is called Similar Scar. It's about somebody that I was close to for a time. That reminds me a lot of someone I used to love, and this person was somebody that I wanted to kind of spend more time with, but I knew that I shouldn't have, and I decided to take a step away, and because they seem too much the same. So this is Similar Scar.
Wish that I could be here in the light you want, without it ever being haunted. 'Cause you've seen things in me that only one has, no strings attached. face, you got a similar scar. And I don't wanna hurt her anymore. I don't expect you to get it, 'cause you act like maybe I'm the one. She said the same thing with her eyes closed, and believed every tale that I've told. I would speak them to existence, she would trust, and then I left it. I felt so selfish. I'm sorry that I loved someone like you before. I'm hesitating now before it falls apart. Oh, I've seen it in your face, you got a similar scar. And I don't wanna hurt her anymore. I hope you don't want me more than anything else, 'cause I still try to heal the pain I know she felt. Oh, I've seen it in your face, you got a similar scar. I'm sorry that I loved someone like you before. I'm hesitating now before it falls apart. Oh, I've seen it in your face, you got a similar scar. And I don't wanna hurt her anymore.
And we're back.
As we are.
As we are.
All right, so that was a pretty dope song, Mr. Parker.
Oh, thank you very much.
It was emotional as shit.
Yeah.
As I've noticed, oh, my mic's a little dangly here.
Can't have that.
So I wanted to ask you, who are some of your musical influences? Like, who are you into? Who do you feel like has inspired you or your music? Do you make comparisons to other artists for your music, or talk to me about that?
I try not to like make comparisons when I'm like writing music, because I don't want to like get into that like sounds like this, sounds like that. But I think that's kind of like an odd reality I have to accept sometimes, is because that's like, I feel like inspiration is drawn whether I know it or not.
We have a friend, Co, who always says, what does he say? You're the
sum
sum
of
of
all
everything
the
you've
things
ever listened
heard.
to.
Yeah. And so as I kind of said earlier, like I started on like just kind of early, like Ed Sheeran, like back when it was just kind of like raw, like acoustic, like sob songs. And from there, I just kind of got into this like well of other things. Noah Kahan was like kind of one of the bigger ones I got into for a while. Kind of his earlier stuff like Sync and Hold It Down and all this kind of stuff. I just found myself kind of falling on like the folk line of things a bit. Got into like kind of the indie like electronica stuff here and there, like Jeremy Zucker and like Chelsea Cutler, and then pulled as of lately it's kind of been a lot of I don't know if you've ever heard of like Novo Amor. They're
Sounds
kind of
familiar, yeah.
They're kind of like Lumineer-esque. They've had a few songs that kind of took off or whatever.
Did you ever listen to Ben Howard?
Here and there, not a ton. I can't like sit here and like name like his discography or anything, but like I know like some songs I'll hear every now and then be like, oh, it's Ben Howard.
Bon Iver.
Yeah, I've been actually I didn't get into that much at all until this year. I really didn't know anything about Bon Iver. I just always heard of, and I kind of got annoyed of people that would like just talk about him all the time as kind of just like an IQ point. So I was like, probably not gonna go near it. But then a buddy of mine like told me I should just really listen to like some of his earlier work and.
Where'd you start?
For Emma, forever ago.
Oh, because you started at the beginning.
Yeah.
So have you now crossed over to being one of those people who gets really annoyed if somebody says Bon Iver?
Luckily, I haven't. I used to say Bon Iver. That's because I didn't know anything.
I like to say that just to annoy people.
It's like LaCroix or LaCroix. It's kind of the
LaCroix.
same shit. LaCroix even.
Yeah.
You're weird. I knew something was up with this guy. No, but yeah, I had just gotten that album like literally like a month ago.
Nice.
So yeah, I got a few things. Adam Melcher is a big one, like lyrically for me. Just a lot of those like kind of like indie folk acoustic kind of stripped stuff. Yeah. Just a lot of things like every now and then. I don't really have like one person that I'm like the holy grail of fucking
not just like one main influence. You just draw from a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
Which I think most people, it's probably true of most people.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. It
If you just draw
changes
from
a
one
lot.
guy, that's just called plagiarism. So.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
But if you draw from 20,
I'll be
you're an artist.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah, that's how you manipulate people for sure. And it's working sometimes.
Yeah, well, manipulation is the key to happiness, so
Right.
everyone knows that.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
It's a
Know
good
plenty
time.
of people that know that. Yeah.
But outside of, now apropos of nothing,
Sure.
just out of my own curiosity, we had talked about this, just almost started talking about it a little bit before the show, and then you had no real answer, and I didn't know if that was real or not. So we're going to dive a little deeper into it. Because I had told you right when we started to kind of give you the rundown of the show that one of the things we end up talking about mainly because I force it, is conspiracy type theories.
Okay, yeah.
Aliens,
Sure.
Bigfoot.
Sure.
Are there any that you subscribe to that you need to tell people about, or are you a non-believer?
Oh. Heaven on earth.
Not to
one.
put heaven on earth. All right.
No.
Ooh, that's
new,
a cool
that's new.
conspiracy.
Oh.
That could be one. You could start that.
I mean, everyone knows birds aren't real, obviously.
Okay.
But besides that,
Yeah. That's tough. Sometimes I think about like the whole I wouldn't say I like prescribed this, but or subscribe whatever what do you fucking say?
whatever you want,
Oh,
we accept it.
that's bullshit. But I sometimes I think about like the off chance of things being like a simulation for a second because people are just so fucking like weird sometimes, myself included though. I'm like, because I probably seem like a bot to someone else.
Right.
Especially
You're someone
if
else's NPC.
Yeah, and even if I come in and just like say some shit that's so fucking weird and like specific, someone's probably even like, I feel like whoever's running this whole shit show put this lanky motherfucker here to like make up some shit so I don't like start like figuring it out, you know? But I
Getting
don't
too
know.
close to the truth.
Yeah.
You don't believe in Bigfoot? I mean, that one's an easy one to believe in. He could be anywhere.
That's right. That's right. Not really.
Or Nessie.
Nessie. I haven't heard that one in a while.
Nessie?
I haven't heard that one in a long
I mean,
time.
Nessie's definitely real. I'm 100% convinced Nessie's like. I don't believe in
I don't
Bigfoot
know.
because I believe Bigfoot is possible.
Okay, who do you think Marshmallow is? You know the DJ?
Does nobody know? I don't know them. I
No
don't
one
know enough. I
knows.
mean, I know the image of the guy.
Yeah. That's like a big
What
one.
if it turns out he was Bigfoot?
But what if it turns out it was
I think
you?
it'd be the best if it was fucking Adam Sandler. I think that'd be sick as hell. Everyone's giving him shit for all these like bad movies.
Yeah. No, I have
lately.
wondered.
He's like, it was pretty good for a DJ.
Yeah, he's pretty damn good for a DJ. And everyone will be like, what? And I'll be like, I wasn't supposed to say that.
I have wondered before, though never actually taken the time to Google this. I'm sure this is easily figure outable. But is conspiracy theories like a U.S. thing? Is that worldwide? Like, you don't really hear about the crazies from other countries very often.
I have a lot of friends from across the pond, and I've yet to like
Have you
that
traveled?
conversation.
Have you traveled much at all? Have you
Yeah,
gone
as a
overseas?
child though, I mean, like I was fucked in the head as a kid, but not enough to like walk up to all these French people and be like, "Do you believe in conspiracy theories?"
Really? That's the first thing I ask him. Weird. No.
That's crazy. You speak French?
No.
So
it's
that's
a very
probably
confusing
why it doesn't work
conversation.
out. Yeah.
No, but so as a kid, you traveled a bunch of places.
Yeah, sort of.
Where'd you go?
Well, my mom was French. My mom is French.
Still is.
She didn't
Yeah.
lose her Frenchness over time.
No, I just say was because it's difficult. It's tough. We don't really talk much. Anyways, geez, guys, really asking the hard-hitting questions. So around France, like a lot, and then
What do you think of it?
I think it's cool.
Or rather, I should ask, when was the last time you went? Like, how old were you?
Last time I went, I was like 12, I think.
Okay, so
It's been a while.
You haven't been as an adult.
Yeah,
So it might be
it's-
different vibes.
It's been a long time, but like I was a boring ass kid though, so I feel like I was able to like take in a lot of it and probably still have the same opinion now. I liked the French countryside a lot.
Is that where you spent most of the time? Or you like hang out in
Yeah,
Paris a bunch?
I think we would like spend as many days in Paris as we could. But then we would just kind of like bounce around and like see family in these like smaller parts of the country and stuff. I like it a lot. I mean, of course, just hitting on the small town thing again.
Sure. But I think that's not abnormal. I feel like I hear a lot that people love the French countryside
Yes.
specifically.
Yes.
Because when I went to France once ever, and primarily just in Paris,
Yeah.
and I was not a huge fan. I mean, the city was really cool,
Yeah.
but people told me before I went that they're not a big fan of Americans, and I definitely found that to be true. Like, they were dicks.
Yeah, I think if you're in Paris specifically, yeah.
And that's what I kept hearing after.
I think it's
some
the
people told me,
tourists.
like,
I
if
think it's
you're
just being
in
a tourist.
Paris, Parisians are the worst, but literally anywhere else in France, they're
Well, I
dope.
mean, how do you feel about like a bunch of bachelorettes on a party bus?
Bachelorettes?
Yeah.
Not a fan.
Oh shit! Are we like the
Are we the
bachelorettes
dicks?
for French?
That's what I'm saying.
but
People-
the thing is, if it's outside of, but the reason I don't like bachelorettes is because they're my way.
Right. And what I'm saying is you're also like some French guy with like, I don't know, like a baguette and a striped shirt is like trying to get
Classic.
to work.
Which is what the
And
uniform of
you're
Paris.
over here with like a digital camera, like just oh my god, and it's just a fucking glass pyramid.
Think about it.
I get
The
that.
analogy is pretty good because
It's
like
pretty
bachelorettes
solid.
are loud. They say Americans are loud.
Well, yeah, because of my most
But
bachelorettes
I wasn't
are
loud
Americans,
enough
but-
over there.
Well,
no, louder than I normally
I would
am.
say that's pretty biased, but I don't know you well enough to like really dig into this. I don't take you as a loud guy at all.
Am I a loud guy?
No, I don't
Depends.
think so. You probably would know, I guess, better than me.
I think I'm situationally loud.
I feel like if you get on the vibe I get from you is that like if you get on the right topic, I feel like you could get loud about something.
100%.
But like I think I don't think the issue would be the loudness. I think it would just be like the amount of time you're at this like somewhat high volume. Like you kind of give me, and I mean this all in like the best way.
no,
like,
you're not gonna offend me. Lay it on me.
fuck you, dude.
That's fine. Hard pass, but you know.
I got Zach Rogan over here. Yeah, I just feel like you would kind of hit like a specific topic about something, and you'd raise your voice. I don't think you'd be loud, but I think you'd raise your voice, and you would like you'd be on that point for like a while. That's kind of the. I feel like you'd get.
I do
really
like
into
to do
something.
that. I do
Yeah.
quite enjoy exactly what you're talking about.
Interesting.
Picking a topic that no one else gives a fuck about and trying to get them to go hard with me.
Right.
Yeah, it's hard to get people to do it though.
Yeah. So no, I'm
That's
not
why.
really
That's
into
why
any
we started this
conspiracies.
podcast. Like,
Yeah,
force
yeah,
people
yeah.
into it.
Right. So the Bigfoot thing. Yeah. I mean, what
No,
you think
that's
Bigfoot's
a-
real?
No, I don't really think Bigfoot's
What do
real.
you have? Because
Well,
yeah,
I
do
feel
you
like
have
I'd be
any-
better at kind of like deconstructing your shit than trying
Sure.
to like come up with some of my
Well,
own.
I have a
Ooh,
lot
I
of
like that.
of suspicions.
Okay.
For instance,
So this is right off the bat. We know this is gonna be bullshit.
no. Well, okay, Bigfoot. Right. Let's talk about. Okay, there's three
Yeah,
main
yeah.
ones. Three main ones that I'm
Oh, so you
like
do
there
believe
could
in
be some
Bigfoot.
credence.
Okay. All right.
Bigfoot, there could be credence because of Gigantopithecus,
What is that?
which is a prehistoric thing we found fossils of and whatnot that essentially is a giant ape.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That a lot of people think walked on 2 feet. I'm not a dinosaurologist, so maybe don't take my word for it and Google it. But it makes sense to me that in
Okay.
the vast wilderness of the world, it is possible that there are some creatures that have survived that we have not discovered.
Sure.
Is it likely?
There's plenty that we haven't.
Probably not likely that there's like a dinosaurs roaming in the valley somewhere that we haven't discovered. But it's not impossible.
Yeah.
And so I think it's possible Bigfoot could be Gigantopithecus, though
Okay.
highly unlikely.
Right.
And the same thing with
But do you have like
Nessie.
any that you like super believe in?
Yeah. I need something kind of like hardcore because you
Some
can't be asking this question.
Okay,
If you don't have.
I got one. Okay, but I'll tell you. So, Nessie, the good old
Okay.
Loch Ness monster. I believe that is just it could be one of several swimming type dinosaurs that could have survived because the ocean
Sure.
is much vaster than the land.
Okay.
And so I feel like it's more likely that like a, Leopleurodon or something,
Yeah.
or, a plesiosaurus survived, or there's a pod of them somewhere out there. It's possible, but unlikely.
Dude,
What? All right. What you
I'm
got?
gonna have a real talk with you for a second.
Okay.
You need to just like own your shit.
Well, no, I'm telling you the truth.
You're playing
telling you
this
the truth.
little like beat around the bush kind of game.
Okay.
If you believe in Nessie, say it.
But I don't believe in Nessie. I believe that Nessie is plausible.
Okay.
Now, I
think
will
this
say...
is good. I think let's gang up on Drury a little bit.
I'm
fine with
I
that.
think I think
I need something. Do you have something
Okay,
that
but-
you're gonna be like, yes?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
can you
yes,
own
I do.
your-
I've got one.
Because
can you
like
own your opinions?
because about anything we can sit here and hypothesize all day.
Yes. Okay, I got one for you. Now, Ryan, you've known me a long time. You know I don't have
Yeah.
weak opinions, all right? My
Yeah,
opinions are
but-
way stronger
but
normally
I
than they
see
need
what
to be.
Parker's saying. I see
You're
what
right.
Parker's saying.
I will say 100% I believe that aliens exist. You knew I was going to say that, didn't
said
you?
that you said that purely for the drop.
No, I didn't know that. 100% aliens exist.
Okay.
It is statistically impossible that we are the only living life forms in the universe.
It is
Statistically
impossible that we're the only living life forms in the universe.
Yes.
How
So
so?
well, I mean, just math. So, I
terrible at
believe,
math,
I believe it is 100 to the 50th power is considered scientifically impossible. You can
Okay.
fact check me on that, Wes, if you want. I don't know if you're able to, how easy that is.
Yeah, we'll just rock with it.
And we don't even know how many solar systems, universes, galaxies, and stars there are, right?
Okay, yeah.
And so statistically, now have they visited us? I also think yes. Just because. Oh, the combo. No.
We got that double.
Just because of more recent evidence that has come out.
Sure.
For instance, what's his name? Fravor, Commander Captain Fravor?
Captain David Fravor.
David Fravor?
Yeah.
Well, was he the Air Force pilot off the coast of San Diego who saw the pill?
He
And
sure
so
was.
There's the pill. Have you heard of the pill?
I haven't heard of the
Or the
pill.
Tic Tac is also called.
TikTok.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So this Air Force, I assume he's in a plane, maybe the Air Force.
Okay.
Some dude
Maybe I've
in the
heard.
military flying over the coast. On the radar, they spotted this small Tic Tac shaped thing. And you can look up this video. There's a video. The video's been released now. It's on. You can find it on YouTube. And just the way that it moved was unlike any technology that we have, or anything that we know, or anything as far as we know that's in the works. Like it descended from, I think it was like 3,000 feet to like 5 feet above sea level in like a second. The way it moved, there was no heat signature for like propulsion or anything. We don't know how it moved, how it worked, and then it just and it vanished. And there's
Yeah.
been like a bunch of sightings of that, as well as there's been enough individual sightings. There's been enough. There was another one over. What city was it? I don't remember.
All of them.
That like
Every single one.
300 people saw this thing flying over this city. You know, like all these people calling the police, like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
And like, there's
Phoenix.
enough that makes me go,
Scottsdale.
yeah, there'd be aliens.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, where you guys? I'm going
I feel like you're accidentally hitting two.
I don't
so-
know if you meant to.
I did accidentally hit two.
What does it
What's
say?
this?
Officially win.
10 to the 50th. So I was 1/100th off, or 1/0 off.
So, okay. So you think it's impossible that there isn't anything else out there?
Impossible
Any other-
that there's nothing else out there. Yes, strongly believe that.
Like what? Under like what metric is that? Like compared to what? Like how does that?
What do you mean compared to what?
Like how is it impossible that there's nothing else out there? I guess is how
Sure.
I'm-
Well, okay, we got to start with how are we here? Now you can subscribe to a religious theory, a scientific
Right.
theory, whatever. For whatever the reason, we are here, unless we're in a simulation. But as far as we know,
But then we're also still here. We're just like
well, we might be somewhere else.
being simulated.
Yeah. Even if it is a simulation, we still exist.
We in
somewhere.
some form or another, unless we are
strange.
actually an AI being ourselves
Yeah.
and don't realize that's what we are, which
Okay.
is not impossible but unlikely.
Yeah.
But
We're here.
within our own solar system, there has been planets that we have found water on, which is a very important ingredient for life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we only have a few to check out.
okay.
How many solar systems are there?
Sure.
I don't know, more than 6? Like
Probably
a lot.
more than 6.
How many how many universes
bet.
are there?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just based on the sheer numbers, even
As far
if you
as we know,
subscribe,
only one.
Yeah.
if you subscribe to zero religious beliefs at all and only look at just like science and facts, because it's the
Yeah.
easiest lens through which to view this.
Sure.
And which would mean that we are just a random chance, right? That's what science would say, is that this is not a design. Randomly, some things happened and shit came together. It's a lot more complicated than that.
Yeah, and I think that's what just kind of begs the question of like there had to be something of existence before this random chance, because like nothing can happen from nothing.
Yeah. Okay. What? How many does it say? I can't see that. The things in the left.
If we made the most straightforward estimate using today's best technology, we'd stake there are 170 billion galaxies in our universe.
170 billion galaxies.
Thank
And
you,
how many?
Wesley.
How many?
Yeah,
And then
I'm-
how many solar systems each of those galaxies have? And how many planets each
Yeah.
of those solar systems have?
I'm not counting you out there. I can kind of agree with you on the alien track things.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like you can definitely say it's like scientifically like impossible that there isn't other forms of life out there.
But if you're talking intelligent
I
life,
think the fun question is like, what the fuck is it?
right?
Like, is there like some other world where there's like, I don't know, like another version of the movie Airplane,
Well,
but it's on a bus?
I mean, the thing
Like,
is,
like the
completely
multiverse thing?
detached from us. Who knows what they would be? Who knows what they would
Yeah.
evolve? Who knows what customs and cultures and media, right? Entertainment's going to be in everything, assumedly.
Yeah.
Here's the thing with your argument
Yeah.
of if it being an impossibility that there's not
Scientific
aliens out
impossibility.
there. Well, so it's if life can be randomly generated. So like if you have an intelligent design position that like
Which I do, for the
that
record.
there's so if you believe that God made life, then it's no longer the impossibility argument falls apart.
Right.
Because it means like somebody had to make it and had to choose to.
But is there anything from a religious standpoint that says more than one wasn't made?
No, so then it just becomes an open-ended question like, but did God put life on other planets?
Right.
But if you believe that the universe came to be of its own accord and that life came to be on account of random chance, then what you're saying about there is just so many places for that to possibly randomly happen that it must have makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't even really think that like religion necessarily like I don't know of any religions that like necessarily count out the idea of anything else. Like,
Right. Nothing like
being-
strictly says no.
being out there because I mean the Bible is like it's like testaments to God that we would like have here on earth.
Sure.
So it's, stories that have been like passed down through time or whatever.
Right. So, sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
I don't know.
Oh,
That's,
okay.
Yeah, I was trying to figure
So
out how to
like
end the sentence.
So from like an intelligent design perspective, aliens equals maybe.
Maybe.
From a
but who's to
yeah.
say God's not A,
There's a
B in it?
chance.
You know what I mean? Like, we got Earth, and maybe we got, like, Earth really far away. That's like, maybe this
That's
Earth's a little
true.
better.
Yeah.
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Like Adam and Eve didn't eat the apple and they're
Yeah.
doing great.
Doing really well, but they're bored all the time.
Yeah. On this
Right.
episode of Adam and
Yeah.
Eve still.
And, we got Adam and Eve. Maybe they actually
Nobody's funny.
did have Adam and Steve.
Oh damn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, right.
The gay
Try it.
planet.
Yeah.
maybe like maybe
Sure.
that's how reproduction works on that
Yeah.
planet. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, from a religious
Yeah.
standpoint, it's possible. From
God
a scientific standpoint, it
we
is
got-
almost guaranteed.
And we got like Sarah and Eve on another one. Like,
Now,
like throw it around.
On
a
the
little bit.
gay planet,
Yeah.
is it in the Bible that you're not supposed to be straight?
100%.
Oh, that's interesting.
Absolutely not allowed.
Wow, that's a
Yeah,
turnaround.
straight marriage is forbidden. So taboo. Why'd
Yeah.
you fuck anyone who's got different shit than you? You know what I mean? Like, why would you do that? That's crazy.
In recent years, though, they like being straight has
no.
become a lot more acceptable.
Sure. They're like
Yeah.
starting to get their rights.
Straight marriage
starting to
recently
be
became
recognized as. How far are we going down this rabbit hole?
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know. Like no one's thought about this before. I feel like some interesting findings could happen.
Let's go back to Bigfoot. Let's bring it probably a less homophobic route.
If anything, what we just said was straightophobic. Is there a word
You're
for
right.
that?
Yeah. I don't know.
Heterophobic?
Probably
Is that a
just
word?
probably just on Twitter. I don't know.
Just probably just
like
yeah.
Twitter verified. I'm not sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
Speaking of Elon Musk,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. What's up with that, huh?
You just want to play that over and over and over.
Oh God.
I feel like the sound
all
effect
bad.
has some legs, and we really haven't used it enough.
Yeah, you think it has legs?
Legs. Yeah.
Weird.
I wonder. Huh. Scientifically, that's not impossible.
That's true. I mean, scientifically, anything is not anything is possible, right? Scientifically, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, what about metaphorically?
Metaphorically, anything is possible.
Like metaphorically, like if I called her, she would answer, right? Like,
Metaphorically, I guess
like
so.
if I called her, she would answer, and it would be fine. We'd work it back out.
You're right.
Are you bringing it back to artistry?
That's all I got. What do you
Well, we're
want?
discovering now you got a lot more.
Yeah, sure.
You
I
bet you
guess.
traveled.
What do you mean?
From
Oh,
small town?
Yeah, yeah.
You've been other countries?
Small town boy.
You clearly
Small town
believe in
boy.
Bigfoot.
Yes.
Born and raised
Sure.
in rural Illinois.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, actually,
Great.
I do have a question about you a little more pertaining.
Okay.
So recently, my wife and I are saving up to buy a house, and we are considering, in a few years' time, moving to a much smaller place.
Oh, great.
Now, I don't know if we're talking like small town, but, and usually when you look up like great small towns to move to, it's like population 800. And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's a little too small. So what are the, besides that there's just nothing? Well, I guess that is the downside, right? Is there other large downsides that we need to consider
To living in a small town?
to living in a smaller town? Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's kind of a game to play with that one where
Mm.
you can live in a small town that's close enough to bigger towns to like make a day trip to.
Sure.
And do things if you're craving that.
Sure. An hour, I feel like it's kind of, I mean, it's like a fine day trip, but it's like
If
pushing
you're talking
the
about a
limits
small
of
town, you're looking at anywhere from like 3 to 5.
hours.
Yes. But that 3 to 5
That's too
hours in a
small.
small town
Yeah.
is way different than a 3 to 5 hour drive out of Nashville.
I mean, I feel like
Because you're not running into like stupid traffic both ways.
180 to 40 to 400 minutes is still the same length of time.
It is, but there's this thing I'm talking about called feelings, where
Sure,
when you're like in this moment, you're not like congested around thousands of
Sure.
people.
I'm sure that does help.
trying to get into one place. Sometimes the problem is that the drives are boring most of the time. There's not much to like look at.
Fields.
Other times there is. But the nice thing about it, it's always like a straight shot. You're not playing any games. Like you're
one
taking
road
the
all the way there,
same
pretty much.
road
Yeah.
anywhere. There's a stop every 10 minutes just into somewhere like dumb. And like some of the best gas stations in the world are in the Midwest. Casey's, Love's, that's all you need. Pilot, same kind of thing, really.
So how big was where you lived in Iowa? How big was that?
Iowa City, Iowa.
That's pretty big, right?
Yeah. It was bigger because it was a college town. So it's on the
Okay.
University of Iowa.
Yeah.
I'd say there were like kind of a decent amount of people that were kind of packed into a little bit of a smaller place.
Okay.
Iowa City, Iowa is really like well put together. It's
Okay.
kind of an up and coming like arts district kind of thing. And like the University of Iowa is just like really clean, like just really well done. There's so much to do around there, especially considering you're in the middle of Iowa. But that would actually be like one of my recommendations if you're really trying to like get into
Iowa?
a smaller town, Iowa City, Iowa. Because you're 4 hours.
How small is it?
You're
Or how big is it, I guess, is the...
I don't really know the population.
Well, how does it feel compared to Nashville?
It's not as like congested as I wouldn't call Nashville congested, but I mean it's like it's not as congested on that kind of scale as Nashville is. It's you're not like running into like stupid traffic or anything like that. Most places you go aren't going to be like crowded like hell on a Saturday, except for like the college bars. Those get like rowdy and like
Sure.
wall
And that's
to
going to be anywhere
wall.
there's a college,
It's
right?
like the biggest party town in the States. It's like it's nuts. It's nuts.
I feel like Florida State would have something to say about that.
Iowa and Florida State, I feel like kind of beef over that in some way.
Really?
But
I've never even heard.
I recently had some clients come in from Iowa, and they're really different.
Yeah.
Both it was two dudes, and they were both really kind of unique people.
Yes.
One had a podcast. I forget what he said his podcast was about. I want to say it was conspiracy theories and stuff, but I don't know.
Man.
again, not much to do.
And the other guy was into extreme body modification.
Oh,
So, I'll start
Right.
in order from lowest to greatest. He had lots of tattoos. In fact, he had his whole arm black. He does tattoos. And Jesus. Could you sip away from the mic?
That was really cool, man. That was a cool story.
That was very Iowan of you.
Are you done?
He
Oh,
had
that's
blacked
true.
out his entire forearm.
That's
Like it was
awesome.
just black. So he was a tattoo artist.
Yeah.
He had plugs, as you do.
Yeah.
Then a little more interesting, he showed me how he does these things where you have piercings in your back and you put rings and you
Yeah.
hang in
I've
the
seen
air.
that. Yeah.
And you do crazy shit like you get lifted like 20 feet into the air and just like float from the rings in your back.
I was on a Ripley's Believe It or Not
I think
episode.
I'd rather just go to therapy. I think I'd rather just like have a nice talk.
Yeah. Well,
I know
not,
it's hard
like-
for men to like talk it out, but I would.
but the rings in the
That's-
back's a little much.
That's when you finally go to therapy.
That's probably the line. Yeah, from stoning people to putting rings in your back.
well. Are you scared of needles? Are you scared of needles? I don't know either.
No. I mean, like I got through these like tattoos. Okay,
okay, yeah.
I'm vaccinated. Like,
Are you scared of needles, Ryan?
No.
No, you're not? I didn't know. I thought I might be scared of needles, but I hadn't gotten a shot in
want
like
to find out?
in like I don't know 15 years or something. And so when I went to get the COVID vaccine, that was the first time I was gonna have a shot in like a long time. And
Yeah.
I was worried. I was a little nervous. I was like, am I the kind of guy who's scared of needles?
Mm.
Because those phobias are like they don't make any logical sense. You know what I mean?
Right.
That is not
You
applicable
just
to
earned
this
us
moment.
the COVID-19 banner.
Right, you got us banner on Spotify.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
And
No, this is such misinformation.
so when I went in to get the shot, which I got the Johnson & Johnson, the poverty vaccine,
Yeah.
because they're giving it in the office next to mine at work. And
Aren't they all free?
yeah, but this one was right next to me.
Oh.
It was literally the next door over. I was working at Belmont at the time, and it was literally the next door over. And so I was like, this is the one I'm getting, because what am I going to drive somewhere like an idiot?
Yeah,
It's right
like
here.
10 minutes.
And so I got the Johnson & Johnson, and I was like worried. I was worried. I was
Yeah.
like, am I going to be scared? And so I forced myself. I stared at it the whole time. The whole time they were like, I was like, just watch it. And I'm
yeah.
not scared of needles, I found out.
Yeah.
But then afterwards, I was making a joke, and I said, so does this mean I can go back to my hobby of licking doorknobs?
Oh, hell yeah.
And she stared at me dead in the face and was like, please don't. And I was like, I've never had a joke fall more flat in my life.
That's not your
It was the
fault.
most uncomfortable feeling. Yeah, it was 100%.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, cool, see you later. And I left. That
Yeah.
was so awkward.
But like, imagine if you like said that to somebody that was like, that could take it. Whether it was like funny or not.
Right, someone's
somebody
like,
that would,
"Ah,"
play
you
along, be
know.
like, good one. That's great.
Something, like, give me some. It's not that great of a
Yeah.
joke, but give me something.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was so awkward. Now it's like
Anyways.
burned in. It's like a core memory now.
Yeah.
No, you didn't let me
Dang.
finish my Iowans things.
I never will.
I did kind of cut you off on that one.
Well, no, it's good. There was one
again.
more thing that was a little more extreme.
Sure.
It's worth it.
Okay,
here.
okay.
So he hung by rings,
Right.
but the final one. And first, I just noticed this, and I was like, "Wait a minute!" I saw out of his mouth come 2 tongues, and I was like,
Oh, you got the split tongue?
"Holy shit! Do you have 2 tongues?" And he showed me he got the split tongue,
That's wild.
Dang.
and he had like
I have so many questions.
Yeah. He had like waited. He was on a waiting list for this guy that was like the best in the world at this, which was interesting to find out there's a guy who's the best in the world at that.
And if you're going to get it done, you should go to that guy.
yeah, you got to go to the guy
Like, you
who's
don't want
the
someone to
best
fuck it up.
in the world.
Yeah.
And and so anyway, he had his tongue split, and he told me, there was a long healing process. It takes a while. You have to do some exercises to try to get, but he has full control of both of them.
Of both of them?
And he can get them to do
That was my first
independent
question.
things from one another.
That is the most amazing thing I've ever heard. I got to get it done now.
Yeah.
I want
And
a double tongue.
He said a lot of. He noted its use in human sexuality
I assume.
and how he found it to be valuable.
Looking for the right button.
Yeah. I was just going to hit one.
What you're looking for is.
He's pulling his cock out.
Oh, no. I was looking for the comedic drums. But it's all right. It's over now.
Do we have that?
Unless,
It's light blue.
oh, okay, cool.
For next time, it's light blue.
Yeah, interesting.
That's
If you,
wild.
if you had any like careless whisper like saxophone, that would have been like the perfect time for that.
We had a guy who played saxophone. Andrew Ye? Andrew Ye? Alex Ye?
Simon Ye.
Simon Ye. I was not close at all. And he was super cool. And when he came in, the very first thing I asked him, I was like, "You gonna play Careless Whisper on the show, right?"
Oh.
And he was like, "Absolutely." And, I was like, and that's how I knew we'd get along. I was like,
yeah,
"All
I'm
right."
glad he didn't get pissed at that.
He didn't.
Because that seems like one of those like
It's like a
musician would
50-50,
get pissed
yeah.
at that. Yeah.
And he was down, and he did, and it was dope.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, he was a really great saxophone player.
That's
Super
awesome.
dude. We should get him back on the show. I've talked to that guy since then.
I wonder if it would be easier if he had like a split tongue.
Yeah.
I wonder if that would help at
I
all.
wonder, like, did he mention
you
like
do two
does it affect the
saxophones?
taste?
He could play two. Yeah, that would be crazy.
Oh yes,
'Cause, I mean, your
He
taste buds are
said-
split, yeah.
He said he can taste two different things at once.
That's amazing.
Like he could put one tongue in, I don't know, yogurt and another tongue in peanut butter, and he could taste both of those things simultaneously.
Well, but if you just put both those things in your mouth, could
Yeah,
you
I was gonna
taste those
say you
things?
can. Yeah,
but
just kinda do that.
apparently, no.
You know what? No, that's actually just called having those things on your tongue.
Right. Your tongue's got like all sorts of zones
that's-
of buds.
I think-
That's called a yogurt parfait. Actually.
He made it sound like he was able to taste in a new way.
Does it affect his speech?
Oh, at first, yeah, it made it really hard to talk, and he had to work at it. But for the
Yeah.
most part, he sounded completely normal. Once I knew about this, I'm like, oh, maybe I detect a little something in his speech similar to a lisp,
Sure.
maybe slightly, but for the most part,
Because
he was
like,
good.
if you talk and pay attention to the things your tongue is doing,
Yeah.
which will make you very uncomfortable
Yeah.
to begin with.
Right.
Now
Started
you're gonna all of
happening
a
to
sudden
me
be
a second
super aware
ago.
of it.
Yeah. Here
Now,
we go.
just
Yeah. Just
but
trying to understand.
like your tongue's
everything.
doing all sorts of crazy shit.
Yeah.
So if you got that double tongue, is it like
It's-
flailing about?
It's like one of the strongest muscles in your body, apparently. Or something.
And he's got
What?
two.
Oh no,
Really?
that's the thumb.
Really?
Yeah, fucking, I don't know anything. I'm not a doctor.
Is it your thumb?
I'm not
Or
gonna
you just
claim
make
to be
that
a
shit
doctor.
up?
I'm pretty sure.
Fact check that, Wesley. I don't believe this guy.
Pull it up. Pull it up. I know this. Yeah, it's got to be the tongue.
Because tongue is a muscle, right?
It is a muscle.
Can
Pound
you
for-
work
I
out
feel
your
like pound
tongue?
for pound. Apparently,
Get like a 6-pack tongue?
I thought
if you can, you definitely should.
I might momentarily bring us back on topic, and feel free to pull us off
Sure.
as soon as you can.
That's
But
what I try to do.
But I will
I
say,
might do that myself.
question.
Hell yeah.
So, what are you trying to do in music? Like, what's your optimal end game?
Always trying to talk about music on the
Jeez.
music-based
Parker,
podcast.
yeah.
Jeez, that's a great question.
Where are you
And
trying to
how does
go?
that tie to aliens, right? No, that's kind of like an idea that I'm trying to build for myself more and more as I go. But something I've wanted is like I always hated high school. Like just sitting in high school is like because it's supposed to be this like kind of like setup for what the real world's like, and then you get to college and it's even more like that. And I kind of had this sense that bullshit. No, it's not.
You were right.
You were
and-
so right.
And I
Nailed it.
And I hated it, and I kind of got by doing the minimum. And I did what I could. Like when it came to writing things, I was great at that. I could like write papers and whatever pretty well, but I didn't find myself fitting in any type of sense, and that was a shitty feeling. And here's all these people that are like, here to like help me figure it out, and there's no lane for me in that. And so it took me a lot of time to kind of figure, but basically it just kind of stemmed from the thought of like, I want to find something that I really enjoy doing and like brings me fulfillment in myself. It doesn't have to be easy. It just like, I want to feel passionate about this, and I want to be able to take it with me everywhere I go. And I don't want to hate it. I don't want to like live every fucking day just like waiting for Friday when I can go like get fucked up and then forget about it, because it's not, I don't really drink much anyways. And like, I don't know. I just didn't want to like find something that I wanted to get away from. And the more and more that I just kind of ignored like the pressure of what life can be like for people when you just kind of like sit down at a desk job or something, or whatever like kind of field you put yourself in that you don't truly love, is like that can be really depressing. So I wanted to find that kind of thing that I can sit and feel really well in. And I started to just kind of turn inward and just worry about whatever's in front of me. And what was in front of me were these just kind of like emotional issues that I've had that I don't really know how to communicate as well as I thought. And as I started just kind of putting things to the side and just going on every day, I just kind of found myself writing songs. It didn't really, there wasn't any like thought that was just like, oh, we should do this. It just kind of got to a point where I was like messing around on a guitar and like you just kind of word vomit, and then eventually you build something. And I didn't really think much of it until the last like year and a half, probably. I was like, oh, I think this is something I can see myself doing. and being able to like honestly kind of like build a career around. And I was like able to kind of like gain like just kind of a random following on the internet of people that were really into my music. And
like super organically, which has got to feel like the best.
That's a very tough process, but it's been really great. I've been frustrated with the TikTok thing for that. But I don't know. I just felt the most confident in myself, and then I thought what it would be like to be on tour, what it would be like to be like a full-time artist and have a full album out, of just like 12 to 15 songs or whatever that I just really love and like mean a lot to me and kind of like depict this story. And if there's like this handful of people that are really willing to like take all my music in and they hardly know me, and like having friends like get back to me and like tell me what it means to them, and like how in a really low moment like it was something that they turned to. I've never given myself that kind of credit to be anything, and like hearing that from people that live in Brazil or like just somewhere across the country was just really it was cool. I felt something, and it sat, and I don't know. I want to, this is the way that I feel like I'm myself. I want to be able to continue to live that way, and hopefully get to a point where I'm able to just make enough money to be comfortable off of it. And
working musician kind of deal. Like that's the goal, and then up from there.
Yeah, I don't have any like thought in my mind that I want to be the top charts this or that or whatever. Granted, that would be cool if that ever happened. I wouldn't be like, fuck this.
But your goal is more to put out things that are you than they are to be the top of the top.
I'm very, very privileged to come from where I come from. Just as a person born into a family that's doing okay for themselves financially. And I had the blessing of like my dad just being like, dude, like I already figured you're dropping out of school to like go make music. Like go make music. I'll support you. And
that's dope. I feel like that's rare.
It is. And having somebody actually, I owe a lot of credit to my dad too. He's a big sports guy, and I played golf, and he was like all about that. He loved that, and then I stopped.
Are you a golfer?
Yeah.
Are you good? How good are you?
2017, I won the Illinois Class 3A Regional Championship.
Oh shit! So you're good.
Shot a 5 over front 9 and a 4 under back 9 to take it home.
So 1 over.
Now, what you don't know is that producer Wesley was really into playing golf when he was a kid.
Good news.
And
also,
so was Jarrod.
Yeah, I was going to say, I played golf 6 times a week for like 8 years straight.
Well, I will smoke any of you guys.
You will smoke me. I don't know if you'll smoke Wesley. Wesley's fucking good.
I'll smoke Wesley.
Back when I was never
Wesley,
amazing.
I can't tell what your gestures mean. Put on the screen like in a notepad if you think you're better or worse than Parker based on whatever.
I can see him.
Jumbly shit
he thinks he's very confident in how much better
I'm just talking that ish. I've been a little out of practice, but I'm getting back into it.
Well, I'll tell you straight up. In my prime,
I got clips on my Instagram. Me like in a few drives.
In my prime, you still would have beat me.
It's pretty.
So I always thought I was terrible at golf. I always thought it was awful. I played in high school. I worked at a golf. My first job was at a golf course. I was there for 5 years. I played golf. That's all I did was play golf. It was my life. And I was never amazing.
Yeah.
But I was like a 8 handicap.
Okay.
So like decent, but not not
that's
crushing
really
it.
solid. That's better than like the average.
Wesley says, and
you're
I
a
don't know
scratch
what
golfer
means.
at 15.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
You were a scratch golfer at 15. You ever heard of burnout, Wesley? If you're a scratch golfer at 15,
but the thing was, because
I'm giving you a hard
mean?
time, buddy. You could probably mess me up, but
because I had worked at a golf course and played on a team, and most people I played with were like pros or PGA pros or some along those lines. I always thought I was terrible.
Yeah.
And then when I quit that job, then I started having to pay for golf myself, which is definitely the reason I don't play very much now.
Yeah.
Or at all now.
Yeah.
But I started playing with just like normies, like regular people who just play golf. And I was like, oh, you guys are real bad at golf.
Yeah.
Like 100, 110 is like normal.
Yeah.
And I was like, you must be so tired.
Right.
Every time you play golf.
You must be worn out. They're getting more bang for their buck, though. I mean, they hit more golf balls than
hit
you
more
at that
golf
point.
balls.
Yeah.
But I used to always play for free. I never paid for golf my whole life until I was like 20.
I worked on a course for a bit, and they would just make you pay like $1 green fee or whatever every time.
Yeah,
and I was just like, most of the time you just kind of walk out.
Yeah, I worked at a par 3 course, so I played there. So my short game was
Oh yeah,
Killer.
it'd be locked in.
The longest hole was 130.
Damn.
Like real small par 3
Yeah.
doors. It was an inner city program for kids. Like any kids
Yeah.
could play there for free, and it was like dope. They teach you how to play
That's
golf.
awesome.
It was super
That's
cool.
really cool.
Everybody was you've heard of the First Tee.
Yes.
They
Yep.
so they were affiliated with the First Tee, but they were their own thing called Pro Kids Golf Academy
Sick.
and Learning Center, San Diego, still going strong.
The town I came from was actually pretty big. Like Quincy was a pretty big golf town as
Really?
well. We had like a professional golfer from there. Probably haven't heard of him, but like Luke Guthrie, played on my high school team.
I don't
But
think so.
he was really good in college. Like he was like Big Ten Player of the Year like 3 times, and then
No, I was a big Sergio Garcia fan. He was my favorite.
Yeah, screw you, man.
You don't like that guy?
I hated Sergio. He was
Why?
such a dick.
I met him.
Also racist.
He was I don't know anything about that. But when I met him and I was like 18 or something, like he was the nicest dude. He gave me his glove. I
That's
went and saw
cool.
him at the
That's cool.
what's the one with the four guys and it's in San Diego. I forget. When I saw it, it was Tiger
Just
Woods.
some type of match play thing.
Yeah, it was like some big tournament they do every year.
Yeah.
And I saw him there. It was Tiger, Phil Mickelson, who's from San Diego.
Okay.
And Sergio Garcia, I forget who the fourth
That's
guy
awesome.
was. And I went and
No,
saw him
like-
there, and he gave me his glove.
Oh, if I met him,
I
I'd
was
be like, oh my
stoked.
god, you're
Yeah.
Sergio Garcia.
That being said, I've also met Tiger Woods twice.
That's sick.
He was a dick to me. Both times I met him.
I've heard that before.
And I was very
Yeah.
disappointed because he like donated a lot of money to this kid's program I worked at. And then he came there
Yeah.
and
He did what?
and he was I don't know. I was an employee and he was kind of a dick to me. The kids all thought he was great. So he was nice to the kids. So I'll give him that.
That's cool. Yeah, that's tough, man. You just like also like seeing any celebrity, like I feel like you just never know. Like they're people too. You never know like
I saw-
what
I
kind of
saw
mood you're gonna
Kirk
catch them.
Franklin yesterday at the restaurant.
Oh
I
yeah.
was at.
He
Kirk
came to
Franklin.
Belmont when I was working there a couple of
Dang.
times. Yeah.
He was just eating at a table near us.
That's awesome.
And then as I was coming back from the bathroom, he was walking to the bathroom.
No.
Huh.
And I would have never noticed him, but my girlfriend did. She was like, "Oh, that's Kirk Franklin over there,"
Yeah.
and it made me realize I probably see celebrities all the time
I have
in
no
Nashville
idea.
and
Yeah.
never know who they are.
I'm kind of in the same boat, like just standing at that counter for like hours on end.
Right.
just, like,
Oh
eating
shit!
and just,
Okay, okay.
Well, wait, hold on.
Yes.
Don't. What I would say,
You're going
don't,
down the same route I'm about to go.
I was gonna say, don't. Maybe you don't want to say
Oh.
the celebrity that comes in there all the time because it's like we're not a very big podcast, but who knows? Who might listen
Yeah.
in the future. Don't want to fuck it up for him.
Right.
But also, like, it's pretty damn
we're-
cool and he's a
we're
great
all-
one.
We're all in the same boat here.
Yeah.
We're all in the same boat here.
Yeah, I
We'll
mean,
leave it. Okay.
I thought about bringing it up, and I was like, you know what? I owe this person that respect to just not.
Right.
Because
we're big fans
Give
of
him
his.
yeah,
privacy
because like
at the
people
coffee
are
shop.
people will listen to this and then be like, oh, I should just go there and just like
Right.
Granted, no one knows where you work, but they could figure it out.
We didn't
Yeah.
say. Did we not say it
We
earlier?
discussed
We didn't
that.
say
Well,
any of
well
it.
we've mentioned you work with Matt, and we definitely mentioned it on Matt's episode.
that's okay. I don't really
Maybe.
care. Whatever.
We won't leave
not a
any
deal.
crumb trails.
Sure.
Yeah. but-
Just
yeah,
know,
sure.
just so the listeners know, we be hanging with celebrities here.
Sure.
Well, back when I used to work at that place, I caddied every year for like 3 or 4 years at this celebrity golf tournament, and most of the time it was sports ball players.
Sports ball.
I don't
Yeah.
follow any sports.
Hell
Now,
yeah.
I mean, I used to follow golf. That was it.
Yeah.
And I had like some big NFL player. I don't even remember his name, and he was kind of a dick. But the
Classic.
best year, so I was actually caddying for some NFL player, which I did like all 4 years, but that I did it 3 maybe, whatever. But also in my group was Michael J. Fox. This was before he got real bad with the Parkinson's. You know who that is?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I do.
checking. I'm like-
No, I know who that is. Yeah, I was just like amazed.
Yeah. I mean, this is like 2003.
Yeah. Back to the Future.
Yeah, Back to the
Yeah.
Future. And
Just
also
making sure you know that I know who that is.
just
We're
making
not-
sure. Yeah,
we're
it's
just, like,
important because
we're
you had
all-
like a confused look, and I was concerned.
I know.
For your,
I
for
see.
you.
Once you were like, "What?" I was like, "I know what face I just made," and
yeah.
that's not. Yeah.
And then I had Vern Troyer,
Okay, don't know who that is.
the guy who played Mini Me in the Austin Powers movies.
Oh, okay.
And
Yeah.
what was great about that was all he did was putt,
Oh,
but he brought his son.
figure.
His son was a full-size person. And so the son would drive and get to the green, and then he would just putt. And I thought that was hilarious.
that's
he
pretty cool.
was so nice and hilarious. That dude was dope. I didn't really talk to Michael J. Fox. I wish I had talked to him more. but
yeah. That's
he was like
hard.
real big, you know.
Yeah, you don't want to like bother those people.
Right. I was just there to
Yeah,
caddy for this
it's
dick
tough.
NFL player, like whatever.
Yeah.
But-
I've learned it's best to just sit back and just be like, "Hey,
Yeah.
how's it going?"
But a
Just be
good
another
friend
guy.
of mine kept caddy for, I forget the actor's name, but it was Carlton from Fresh Prince.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And he asked him to
Yeah.
do the dance. And he
Oh.
did.
That's awesome.
And I was like, that's the
He's a nice
dopest
guy.
shit. Like, he must be super cool. I was so
Alfonso?
jealous.
His name's Alfonso.
Alfonso
isn't it?
something.
Alfonso
yeah.
Ribeiro.
Riviera, maybe.
I don't know.
That
something
sounds
like
right to me.
That does sound
Right
right.
to me.
Riviera, yeah.
Yeah.
His name's like-
he does AFV now. I
Not
think
bad at all.
America's Funniest Home Videos.
Really?
Does he?
Yeah, I
Is that
miss
still
Tom
going?
Bergeron. Honestly,
Why?
It was a good time.
Why
We
does-
miss Bob Saget.
Yeah, we miss Bob Saget.
Oh yeah, I didn't
That's how
experience
old
that
we
one.
are.
Rest in peace, man.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Did Bob Saget die?
Yes, dude.
Alfonso Ribeiro.
Ribiero.
Yeah, Riviera.
Interesting. All right.
So,
That's
hard subject change, but unrelated. Do you like movies? What kind of movies are you into?
Yeah, that's
This is just for our curiosity at this
yeah,
point.
I'm really into like kind of I say older comedies within regards to my age, like older for me.
That'd still be right.
Yeah.
Because the newer realm of comedies is very different.
Tell me about it.
And by different, I mean bad.
Yes, yeah.
Not funny
exactly.
and scared to take a risk.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's sad.
So what do you
It's
mean when you say that older era?
depressing.
What movies are you talking?
I guess Step Brothers is a little on the newer side of that.
Great movie.
But Step Brothers is like one of my favorite movies. You get into like the other guys, kind of
See,
just
the other, when I
going
rewatched
down
the
that-
other
Soup
guys,
Kitchen.
I feel like it didn't hold up as much.
Soup Kitchen.
From the other
I haven't
guys?
seen Soup Kitchen. Oh, okay. yeah.
But
yeah.
that whole Will
Thanks for
Ferrell
the
era
shit.
of that time, Talladega Nights.
Yes,
Right.
Talladega Nights
What was
is
the other
amazing.
really big one?
Just kind of old.
Anchorman?
Well, yeah, but that was
Anchormans were great.
several
Yeah.
years. That was much earlier. Not much, maybe like 6 years
It
ago.
I
was
thought,
Anchorman, Talladega Nights, Blades
Yeah.
of Glory.
Blades of Glory was so.
He had the Super Pro where he was a basketball player.
Yeah.
That's
That
cool.
was all like every movie was a little worse than the last. That
Yeah, so just like shit like that.
Sure.
Also, love Star Wars. Love Star Wars. I can't like go into like
Has an episode gone by where we haven't talked about Star Wars?
I can't
don't
go
know.
into like deep lore about anything
Sure.
because I'm just like that's a lot.
You're a fan.
It's
though.
just
Yeah.
so nostalgic. Like even the new movies.
What's
I'll
the
watch
what's the
them.
best one? There's
So-
out of the 10 that are out.
My favorite is Return of the Jedi. My
Is that also?
favorite is
Do you
Return of the
consider
Jedi.
that the best one or just your favorite?
It's got me roped in the most. And so, look, I know the kind of the controversial thing that everyone wants to say is that Rogue One is the best one.
A lot of people do say that.
A lot of
I don't
people
think
say that,
that's
and I
true.
think
I
they're-
never heard that
I think they're
before
just
our
saying
show.
it because they're full of shit. I think it's
Rogue One was
just
good.
But I think it's just one of those things where they're like, I'm gonna like grab something kind of from the outside that nobody was thinking about. And just be like,
Yeah, maybe.
yeah. We
Fuck
had
you,
somebody say Rogue
right?
One was the best recently.
yeah,
Last episode.
yeah, and
Even?
that seems like a Matt thing.
Yeah.
But
No, it wasn't Matt.
interesting.
Did we talk about Star Wars with Matt? I don't even know.
Actually, I think you know who
Probably.
said it was Kyle. If I'm not wrong, Kyle Pudens.
Dawson
I think he
Dawson
said
Hollow Kyle?
no. Kyle, the other Kyle, the other Kyle violin player.
oh yeah, that guy was super cool.
I think he said
Yeah.
Rogue One.
I
That was last week.
I posed as an extra in a movie one time with Hayden Christensen
Wow.
and Liv Tyler, but I was like, at the time, I was like, that's
Hayden Christian lived. What movie are they in?
I literally, and everyone thinks I'm lying. I have a picture. Can I show you a picture? It's
Absolutely.
fucking sick. Everyone thinks I'm lying because I'm like, I don't remember what movie this was. I was a child. I lived in this town called Shreveport, Louisiana. Small town.
Heard of it?
I've heard of that
But they
from True Blood.
Film. My brother was in True Blood.
Ah,
My little brother's a little extra in True Blood. He played a kid like sitting. I don't remember none of this, but he was like sitting on a front porch, like looking out into the woods and like screaming because like some horrible shit was going down. But I was, as a child, like woken up one morning and my mom was like, "Hey, they need you to like, you're just gonna be in this picture with Anakin Skywalker, and it's gonna
So
be
you're-
for a movie. It's just
So
a
your
Oh
mom's
my
picture."
like kind of
God.
a stage mom. She got two of her kids into movies.
so
Yeah.
wait, this is. I just realized by the time that you had memories,
Yeah.
the new Star Wars movies were out, or at least the first one.
Well, so this, I'm the little kid in the brown shirt here, but like feel free take a
Oh,
look.
that's so dope.
Zoom in. That's definitely me, as you can see. I'm not
Wait,
like
is
deep
that Liv
faking it.
Tyler? That's not
yeah,
Liv-
it is Liv
That
Tyler.
is?
I told you it's Liv. Yeah, it's Liv Tyler.
If we
Oh, shit. That's super dope. That's
I don't know
rad.
why I don't remember what movie this is. I'll probably have to ask around. But
which one are you?
the little kid in the brown shirt, like
The
standing
brown
up,
shirt?
and my brother's the one. And
You showed to the camera.
Oh, it won't focus. It won't focus. Maybe can I text this to Wesley?
yes, absolutely.
I'm gonna text this to Wesley, and Wesley you
Overlay
can-
it on the show.
Yeah,
that sounds great.
put it on your screen somehow or something.
Do you know what
or
the movie was?
I'll edit in later.
I have no clue. I really don't know.
Like I can't think of a movie with the two of them in it. Wait, was she in Jumper?
And for the people listening, by
It
the way,
wasn't
it's
Jumper,
in front of a
because I've
green
seen
screen,
Jumper
that
and I
makes it
wasn't in
super
Jumper.
legit.
Okay. I'm trying to think what other movies he was in.
I was also an extra in a movie called Butter. It's about this girl who does butter sculptures. It's on Netflix.
Oh, that's cool.
And I was just a little kid walking in the background for like a second. But,
Nice.
So I'm on Netflix, so you can look me up.
That's cool.
So what's up with your mom getting you guys into all these movies?
My mom did some like stand-in work for Sandra Bullock for like a little bit.
Does she look like her?
Yeah, a smidge.
That's neat.
Enough to like come in for a little bit. when
Right.
There's something she doesn't really need to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That
Huh.
was kind of the gig.
So she was kind of like involved in filming and movies and stuff a little bit.
I definitely just checked
Just
my watch
for-
and
just for
immediately
like a-
spilled a bunch of whiskey on myself.
Just for like a smidge. Yeah. Just for I think maybe like I think it was like a TV show even.
Gotcha.
I don't even. Yeah. I was a child and yeah, it was a while ago.
So you're I just realized that I was like, how did we get here? So your favorite was Return of the Jedi.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
that was important.
And I was really hoping that you would chime in and say some controversial shit, Jarrod.
Oh,
well,
yeah,
the
go for
thing
it.
that I always say is my favorite. It's been the same for like 20 years.
Yeah.
So I believe the best 2 hours of Star Wars, the best movie length version of Star Wars, isn't an individual movie, but it's actually the second half of Empire, followed by the first half of Return of the Jedi. And I think
Sure.
that is the best segment. If I had to
Sure.
pick one single movie to be the best,
Yeah.
I'd probably lean A New Hope,
Okay.
which I know a lot of people put down.
No.
People put A New Hope down.
Yeah, very much so. It's
Have they no soul?
it's very common because they go, that was the lower budget, just doing whatever he could to make the money, and then Empire and Return of the Jedi is usually the argument. Which one of those was better?
Yeah.
But I think A New Hope has something special that I mean obviously it did. It was a massive success.
I think there's just a lot less lightsabers in it. So like nobody's really
But,
willing to
there's more
admit-
to Star Wars than lightsabers.
There
Except for
is.
Episode 1, in which case lightsabers were the best part.
Yes. Yeah.
That whole scene, the double
Yeah.
lightsaber. Oh, I don't care how bad that movie. I knew you were going to start that. You've done this on like 3 of the last recent episodes.
Oh my god.
And pod racing is cool. I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks.
Pod racing's cool.
Long before we had a podcast.
Yeah, we've been doing this for like a
Jarrod
decade.
and I would just be hanging out at 7-Eleven because
I
we
used to work there
lived-
overnights.
We lived the movie Clerks in real
Yeah,
life.
yeah, we did. You ever seen
And
Clerks? You should.
We'd be hanging out having a cigarette outside of 7-Eleven, and I would just go.
And then you guys would just like kind
Yeah,
of.
Yeah.
And it
Was that how
became
you
one
guys
of
got into music?
Yeah, that's how we got into music. That's our origin story. So you just said the words to me. You've never seen Clerks.
I've never seen Clerks.
You should watch
sounded a
Clerks.
lot like Andy Samberg there.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
Also, I don't know if I've ever seen Clerks.
You don't know if you've ever seen Clerks?
I don't know if I have.
Clerks. Have you heard of Jay and Silent Bob? Or is that before your time? Too
I've
much?
heard of it.
So
I don't know
I've heard
anything.
Tale.
Well,
I've
they're
heard of
also
Tale. I've heard of
in
Tale.
Clerks. But
Okay.
Clerks is a phenomenal. Do you like deadpan humor?
Describe to me what deadpan humor is.
Will
because
do you
I've
know-
heard this? Oh,
Do you know? No, not Will Ferrell.
I think Will Ferrell. He
He's not
says something.
deadpan.
Yeah, he says something that's ridiculous, but he says it with a straight face.
All right. Well, do you know the
Oh.
stand-up Nate Bargatze from
Oh, yeah,
Nashville?
I love Nate
He's
Bargatze.
a deadpan stand-up.
okay, yeah. It's kind of sarcastic.
more
then?
like sarcastic and kind
Oh,
of
I
like
love-
lower tone,
okay, I love
conversational.
deadpan humor. Then, yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
The Clerks movies are phenomenal for just like it's just these guys working at a gas station
Mm-hmm.
and the conversations they have, and it's in the first one is black and white. Wait, is it just the first one that's black and white?
I think so.
How old are you guys?
I'm 34. I was born in '87. So was he.
Yeah. It was black and white for artistic reasons, not because
For artistic reasons, right? Which I've always never understood. But
Okay.
that being said, the movies both 1 and 2 are phenomenal. One
Yeah.
is obviously the best. And you need to watch that. You should watch that tonight.
Deadpan.
We'll do.
Noun.
Jesus Christ! How have you not seen Clerks?
Deadpan
Bringing
is
Jesus back into this.
1, a blank, expressionless face. 2, a person, especially a performer, who has or assumes a blank expression.
Yeah, they're more. It's more just like you know,
Cool.
delivered
Yeah.
like
That
that.
is very Nate Bargatze.
Yeah.
Bargatze.
Bargatze.
I mean,
Yeah.
his face is on the side of Zanies, for God's sake.
He's
Let's
been
get it right.
quickly becoming one of my favorites.
He's really great.
He's really phenomenal.
I saw him open up for John Mulaney.
Oh, right.
That's awesome. Yeah.
He doesn't live here anymore, I think. I thought I heard recently on another podcast he was on that he was living somewhere else, but I don't
Probably.
I don't know. Ask him.
He'll
I don't fucking know.
always
Why are you
come
asking me?
back.
I don't know. It's
He'll
fucking
come back
weird.
around. I don't fucking know anything.
Now, I do know that we are coming up pretty close to our time here.
Cool.
But before we do, there is one very important question that we have to ask.
A very important question.
Oh, can you hit the button?
Oh.
Yeah, so there's two questions that we ask every guest. The first question we always ask is how do you get into music?
How do you
Right?
get into music?
We want to know the
Obvious.
story how you got into music.
We're called Music Girl Hideout. It's kind of an obvious question at that point.
Right, and then we try
Yeah.
to, we take it from there. But there is
We have another question.
A second question that we
It's
ask.
not particularly obvious.
No,
Okay.
not particularly.
Now-
but you could say
Hit me with it.
It's important. Now, yes, we will. So we will. I'll say this. Usually, we really draw this question out.
Right, we made
Okay.
like a big deal about it.
We're not going to do that tonight.
Do whatever you need
No,
to
no,
do.
no. I think we're deciding to like
I
stop.
think we're over that.
Here we
We're
go.
over making a big deal out of it.
Oh, it's funny because you're doing that right now. Right. Oh, it's funny because it's a bit. Right.
Though actually, no, we've never done this before on the podcast
This
like
is the first time.
This
This
is
is the
new.
first time.
The last time.
We used to.
This is new.
This is probably the last time.
We used to really draw it out.
Yes.
One of the things I would
Yeah.
do, so this is just letting you in, Parker. One of the things I used to do is I would hit this button just to kind of generate a lot of tension.
Yeah.
Anticipation.
Because you know right
'Cause
now
music,
you're
yeah.
about to be answering this one particular very important question.
Yeah.
And this music that creates tension, marvelously designed by John Williams to evoke that tension in the movie
Right.
Jaws back in the late 70s.
Though, have you
Right.
noticed it becomes harder and harder to talk as this speeds up?
Yeah, it is a little harder to talk, and so that's when you hit it. You can hit it off.
Yeah,
that's
that's when-
fine.
that's
That's
when you
fine.
just
That's fine.
turn that shit off.
So what we used to do is we'd be like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna have to answer this question."
Right.
And What would you always say?
And then I'd say, if you had to choose.
And I would say, "And you do."
To which I would follow up, and you do.
It was really ridiculous. Like
Interesting.
we had this whole bit behind it. We would.
Yeah. But
keep
anyways,
doing that.
we're not
Yeah.
going to do that.
Back
Yeah.
in the old days.
If you had to choose,
And you do.
and you,
And I won't.
and you do.
yeah.
Do
Yeah.
Now,
It was
actually,
kind of
though,
ridiculous.
But actually, the important part of this question is that the answer does not come from here.
And what I would say at this point,
Okay.
every single episode, and I'm talking almost 60 episodes, I would go, "Oh, for the podcast listeners, he's pointing to his head."
Right.
Because the
Right.
people listening can't necessarily see that he's
Up to
pointing to his head.
imagination.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
But
Right.
the thing is, the answer of the question must come from here.
And then I would describe that he's pointing to his heart.
Not that we're doing that now.
And how that meant that it had to come from your heart as the guest.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
got one.
if you had to choose,
And
got
you
one of
do.
those.
and you do.
I will. Maybe.
But what's important is how that actually translates.
Right.
Is that I need an answer immediately,
Yeah, and you can see how we
So
would.
you just need like my off the cuff.
off the cuff, from the soul.
Okay, and if I don't give that to you though.
That's
when
a
you
problem.
fail, I guess.
Yeah, I don't
Or
know.
what?
That's
Life,
the episode.
But you gotta just.
The episode becomes named Parker Campbell fails at the episode, I think.
I feel like a
Yeah.
lot of people would then click on it though and be like, what?
Where did he fail?
That would actually be great clickbait. Do you want me to just fuck this up for you guys?
No, we need an answer. This is very important.
Yeah.
Let's hear it.
If you had to choose,
And you
Surely.
do.
and you do,
I will.
what would you say is your favorite kind of turtle?
The spiny softshell turtle.
Ooh, that's a spicy one.
We've never gotten that before.
Yeah, tell me why.
So I know this girl that is she, fucking what she wants to do with her life is work with animals, and she was just like, "Oh, I need to find a spiny softshell turtle." And I was like, "Wow, that's crazy." And I just remember that name, and so then when you were like, "Oh, I need a fast answer," I just gave you the first thing that came to my head.
Which is as you should, because that's
Why
what's
did-
most topmost level of your heart.
Why
Right.
did she need to find a spiny soft-shell turtle?
I don't know. She
Right,
likes
like to eat?
likes turtles, I guess, man. I don't, we were at the zoo, which is like the weirdest place to
Which
look
zoo?
for them. The Nashville Zoo. Is there like
Okay.
another one around here?
They have a
Well, there's lots of
fantastic
zoos.
reptile
selection.
I heard
Right.
about this idea for a two-way petting zoo where you pet the animals
And they pet you back? I'm into it.
I'm so into that.
I have no problem.
Shout out
with
to
that.
The Office, by the way.
Yeah, I literally just watched that episode.
Yeah, I have to stamp jokes. I can't just take those. And,
Actually, my wife has never seen The Office all the way through.
Really?
And so I've been showing her now. We're just on season 5 now.
Yeah. In all honesty, though, I'm gonna backpedal on this one. The turtle that I love the most, right? Is that the
Sure. Yeah.
Probably the one that I had when I was a kid. We had a little pet turtle that I lived in Louisiana, and there was a bayou. Shreveport, Louisiana. There was a bayou in my backyard.
Of course, there's a bayou.
Yep, plenty of copperhead snakes, alligators.
I'm gonna be real with you. I don't even know what a bayou is.
Have you ever heard of like a marsh?
Sure.
It's kind of like a marsh, except it's got its
And
own.
a marsh is kind of like a swamp.
And a swamp's kind of like a bayou.
Ah.
It's basically just the way to say it in Louisiana. By the way, if you're ever in Louisiana, wherever you can go to a crawfish boil, do it. Great time, unless the people you're around are boring, because most of the time they are.
Sure.
But yeah, I had this. We had this little turtle sandbox when I was a kid. It was a big sandbox. It was a turtle, and there was a turtle that made its way in there at one
In the
point,
sand. Okay.
and it was really funny.
Wait, the sandbox itself was a turtle sandbox.
Yeah, the sandbox itself was this big plastic turtle,
And then a turtle.
and it was alive. It was alive. It would tell
No.
me secrets.
I don't think so.
But it would just whisper to me like every 30 minutes. It'd be like, "Why am I?
End my misery.
Take me out of here.
Wow.
Take me away."
Wow.
Yeah. Well, we have learned weirdly through asking this question about 60 times that every single human apparently has a direct relations with a turtle and has a turtle story.
The turtleneck. I love the turtleneck.
The turtleneck? See, that would be a great
That would be
answer.
unique.
We've
That'd
never
be
gotten
very
turtleneck
unique.
as an answer. We had a lot of box, right?
Box
We had a lot of
turtles,
snapping.
of course.
We've got a couple of different colored shells. Like we had the
The blue-breasted gooby, I think, is one of them.
Sure, probably.
Yeah.
But soft shell, spiny soft shell
turtles.
That's new. We've gotten sea turtle as well, a bunch. But yeah, we do ask this question to everybody.
I
Absolutely.
feel like
That's
you
not a lie.
succeeded the podcast. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, I'm being
Spiny
real.
soft shell was
Thank
new.
you.
No
That
clickbait
was
for you.
new. I like
cool.
that.
Yeah.
No
can
one's
avoid
gonna
clickbait
listen to
for
this
now.
now, so that's sad. But at least
Yeah.
you succeeded.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Great news, guys.
Yeah, there's lots of turtles. I had 4 turtles growing up when I was really
Nice.
little. I named them after the infamous teenage versions.
Yeah. Of course.
And they all died.
Of course.
Over slowly. 2 of them got ran over by cars,
Yeah.
which I was like 6, so I don't think that's my fault.
Yeah.
And
You
the
know what I
other
mean?
2 were mercilessly killed by Shredder.
I don't remember. Yeah, true. You gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, that's awful. Would you give them like grape soda or something? Is that what they did?
Right? Orange soda and pizza.
Yeah, something
Yeah,
like that.
That's what they love.
Yeah.
Everyone knows that's how turtles be.
I don't have enough turtle knowledge, man.
Yeah, well, you got to.
But I'm glad I survived that question.
Yeah,
You
pretty
did.
good.
Yeah,
I
even
thought
though
you
we
did pretty
that was new.
good. Well, it's about that time.
It is about that time. Yeah, my wife makes me come home eventually, so that's how.
The old ball and chain.
So you
His sister.
usually do the sign. I'm just giving you opportunity to do the sign off. You're doing a really bad job of taking over.
Oh, you want me to do the sign off? Yeah, I always do the sign off.
Kind of like how you always do.
Yeah, every single time.
Parker, thank you so
But
much
wait,
for coming.
before we sign off, we missed the most important part, which is where can people find
yeah.
you? Where can they see you? What's your socials? What's your YouTubes? What's your all the things?
Yeah, so you can find me pretty much anywhere. It's just Parker Campbell. Luckily, there's not too many Parker Campbells out there that are doing a whole music thing.
Right, that's got that PB in the middle.
Yeah, my Instagram is _Parker_Campbell_ because all the other cool names were taken, and I was 15 at the time that I made this. YouTube, Parker Campbell. I have an EP out called Disconnected, and a single called So I've Learned, and working on an EP right now, and it's sounding really good. So stay tuned to all those things if you happen to wander that way, and I'll have some new stuff really soon.
Make sure to check them out everywhere that you can check them out. And all those places. Actually, you know what we should do? Which also, I don't know if we do this or not. Maybe you already do. We should put the links in the description below.
I do.
Oh, I figured you probably did.
That's a great idea.
Anyways, go ahead and scroll down below. Click the links in the description below. But anyways, guys, thanks as always for coming to hang out. This is My Music or Hideout, and we'll see y'all again next time.
My feet are cold, probably 'cause I took my shoes off. My heart's not warm, probably 'cause I pushed you out. I fill the spaces of my mind with the times we never had. I fill the silence of the night with the songs we never shared. 'Cause I still miss your heart. I drive the miles apart just to see you again. I know I'm not your friend, but I love you till the end. The room feels small, probably 'cause I'm 6 feet tall. I feel so tricked, probably 'cause you never loved me at all. I fill the spaces of my mind with the times we never had. I fill the silence of the night with the songs we never shared. 'Cause I still miss your heart. I drive the miles apart just to see you again. I know I'm not your friend, but I love you till the end. I feel the vacance of my hands with yours I've never held. And I love the way we danced and how hard I felt. Oh, I cry away our pain. I bring an umbrella for the rain, but I forgot you. I fill the spaces of my mind with the times we never had. I fill the silence of the night with the songs we never shared. 'Cause I still miss